Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
I'm talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only two guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a Tuesday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next 3. 10 o'clock, we hit you with the real truth. 10:30, Uncle Dom is going to drop by. We'll see if he picked up a flat Dom for me. Also, Porty at 11:30 as the Jackets now are in it. It's every other day we play. You want the Stanley Cup playoffs, you want to be a part of it, that's what the next couple of weeks are going to be like for your Columbus Blue Jackets. Today is April 1st. I cannot stand April Fool's Day. I cannot stand it. Now, as a kid, I enjoyed it a great deal. Now, as a savvy veteran of many years in the media business, what I've noticed is I have gotten pretty smart to the nonsense that happens on the social. That wasn't always the case. I remember vividly in the early years of the old Bishop and Rothman program, AR and I would be doing a show around this time, and you would inevitably forget it was April Fool's. And like we still do now, I still have the X platform up while I do the show. Try to keep having that Blue Sky app up, too, to kind of pay attention to everybody and see what you're missing as a live timeline of what's going on around the world in case you miss something. But in those days, we were just figuring out what Twitter was all about. And it was one of those things where everybody thought it was a big gag to put an April Fool's story out. And it was something that you would see some of them that were manufactured by people who were insiders. You would see some that were like an athlete via their sponsor. You would see that, and it was largely very believable. The one thing that you would look for immediately in those days on Twitter was, does it have a blue check mark? Like that was it. But even some of the blue check marks would be deceitful and try to have a little fun at April Fool's Day. So we will be on high alert. I don't think we're going to get got today. My hunch is that's kind of, we're past the point of no return on that. But we will be diligent to try to not be fooled today. But I hate this day. I've always hated April Fools. March comes and goes so quickly. You do get the Final Four this weekend and the Masters, so those things are fun. Buckeye spring football game after that. So April brings that type of stuff. But at the same time, this day specifically always has me on high alert, and I find it very annoying.
I really thought you were going to come on and be like, baseball for the next 3 hours on Bishop and Friends.
Look at what's the rundown say here? First segment, boys.
I thought I was
baseball gift.
I thought I was getting April Fool by that one. But here you are opening with the Torpedo bat and Elly de la Cruz.
So I was listening to Jeff Passan about this yesterday. This is the most I've heard about baseball to start a season maybe in 25 years, and it's all on this bat. So Passan's on ESPN yesterday, and he's talking about the Torpedo bat. So this is an MIT-educated physicist who taught at the University of Michigan, if I have this right from Passan. And what he did was he looked at a baseball bat and said, why is all of the weight at the end of it when you're trying to hit it in the middle of it? So why don't we take that weight and repurpose it into the middle of the bat and then kind of cone the end of it? And if you've seen if you don't know what we're talking about, I have a hard time honestly believing that you wouldn't, quite honestly. If you're a sports fan at all, I think that this has gotten around enough over the last 4 or 5 days that you're aware of it. But on the off chance you're not, they basically made a baseball bat that looks like a bowling pin. That's kind of what it looks like. Or if you've seen The Hunt for Red October, a torpedo. torpedoes in the water, like that type of thing is what it looks like. And the idea being that the more of the weight now is in the middle of the bat, and the heaviest part of the bat is the middle as opposed to the end. This is all within Major League Baseball's rules. They followed all the rules on this. The circumference of the bat is well within the rules. We've got a weekend's worth of play, about a week's worth of play, and I think we've got enough data to see that it's different. You mentioned in the update, Reese, Elly de la Cruz last night with a torpedo bat, 4 hits, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs. The Yankees hit like 75 home runs over the weekend using this thing. Everyone will be able to use it now. It just feels like I think everybody will. Does baseball ever come back from this? Or is this like the 3-point shot in basketball where once it's established, it's here forever? Or is it something like the tush push where they're going to legislate it out by the end of the season?
No, I think this, because it's generated so much offense in such a short time, that everybody, I think, is for this. Like, I was wondering, like, what the teams coming out of the weekend would say, because it's the Yankees, and so you don't ever want them to have that. You don't ever think like they should get an advantage. But Aaron Judge isn't using a torpedo bat, and he had a really good weekend if you look at the box scores from their 3 games against the Milwaukee Brewers. But especially for the Reds, if your best player's doing what he did last night with that bat, and the Brewers got kicked into a Spartan hole, having a pretty good Monday or a pretty good Tuesday, thinking about what the torpedo bat's going to bring to the game. And I can absolutely see Rob Manfred going to each owner and saying, this is going to drive attendance, this is going to drive highlights, this is going to drive discussion. Look at what we're doing in Columbus. While Ohio State's going through spring ball, while Ryan Day appeared on the show that precedes us, we got the torpedo controversy. This wins for the sport.
We are going to do a lot of Buckeye football. But
April Fools?
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting, though, to see when they get more data on this, because, Reese, you mentioned Judge. He's not using one, and obviously he's still great. And I'm pretty sure Elly de la Cruz could have been using a wiffle ball bat last night, and both of those home runs he hit would have been out of the park. But with the curvature here, so from what I'm hearing is like they can design each of these for each individual player. So like if they see that they're hitting the ball more in one spot of the bat, they can move it to that part.
Good Lord.
But what I'm interested in here is because it's curved like it is, if it's going to make certain hits, if you don't hit it right on that part where they've thickened the barrel, is it going to do some weird things and cost you some hits possibly on some balls that you don't hit right where that is? And I wonder if, as it's widened a little bit and made the sweet spot of the bat maybe have more wood there, has it actually narrowed the sweet spot of the bat so your swing has to be more precise?
You know what this did? As I was looking at more images on Instagram of torpedo bats, now it thinks I want to get into woodworking. Like, that's what the algorithm has for me. And I'll tell you what,
nice
Japanese woodworkers, that's pretty damn peaceful to watch when you're feeling a little stressed out.
I feel like you'd thrive at that. Most people that I know who are in the woodworking business have mustaches. You can grow a mustache in about 6 hours.
Perfect.
So that seems like a win. I think it fits with your entire vibe, Reese. If you wanted to go into woodworking,
just be left alone.
Like, for example, if you would have came on here today and said, I got to tell you guys, in my free time, I've been I have a wood shop and I do a lot of carving. I would be like, yep, I get it.
Look
that
at this table
sense.
I built.
Yeah, I could see you with like artisan coffee and woodwork. Doesn't that seem like peaceful? I could see it. You know, it feels right where you need to be.
To that, like, I just built a coffee table. Sebastian Maniscalco has a great bit on the guys that just build decks on the weekends.
Oh yeah.
Reese, you could be like Patricia. You could have a carpenter pencil behind your ear. It'd be perfect.
Yeah. I think that fits you quite well. I think that fits you quite well to go down that road. So we'll see what happens with this. But it's fun for baseball to kind of have this moment and have people talking about it while there's all of this news going on around the National Football League in terms of the quarterback stuff. And we're going to get through some of this. I think one thing we're going to get to a little bit later in the show, I think what Jimmy Haslam did yesterday is being wildly distorted from what actually took place. And I think it's one of those things where we're in a world now where you read a headline without reading the full context or listening to the full context. And I think once you do that, it provides a very different, you got to be careful out there right now, which brings us back to the April Fool's thing. You have to be careful because We live in a world now where every day is April Fool's Day. Like there's ChatGTP, there's all of these things. There truly is legitimately crazy fake news that you can't decide what's real and what's not. You have to be pretty savvy to navigate today's world. It used to just be one day. Now it's every day is April Fool's Day. That's kind of the world we live in right now, where every single day is April Fool's Day. Did you see this video? And this was a fun example of it. Did you see this video yesterday McNeil put up on social of Tommy Boy pitching Shark Tank?
That was really good.
I saw that a couple weeks ago. That's really good. It's
unreal. I mean, not only is it hilarious, like it's totally the way it was edited, all of it, like that's terrifying. That you could take clips from a movie, edit it into Shark Tank, and come across as relatively believable. But that's where we are. That's where we are in the world. The women's Final Four is set as well, so it'll be Texas, UConn, South Carolina, and UCLA. Texas and South Carolina will kick things off. That will be on Friday, and then UConn and UCLA will go in the primetime game as well. So UCLA saves the Big Ten. They get us one in as a Big Ten participant on the women's side of thing. Have you guys paid any attention to how this is doing from a rating standpoint? Our first one of these since the women's game just blew up, but also post Caitlin Clark.
I have not seen anything on that. I'm guessing the Juju Watkins injury probably hurt them a little bit. I think it's amazing, though, if you remember, UConn's Paige Beckers was kind of Caitlin Clark before Caitlin Clark, and she's still hanging on. She's still playing college basketball.
Well, she had that catastrophic injury. Yeah. That cost her. This has got to be her 5th year at UConn, I'm sure.
She's still really good.
Yeah, she had 40 over the weekend, had 31 last night as they beat USC by 14. So I think the dream scenario, if you're the worldwide leader on this, is you want UConn, South Carolina. That feels like what you want. South Carolina going for another national title, and UConn before that. Go ahead, Reese.
It looks like ESPN says that this year's first 2 rounds is down. That's down 22%. But someone from Market Watch, this is really interesting, that said, don't compare this year to last year because you don't have Caitlin Clark. Compare 2025 to 2023. 2025's up 43% from 2023. So industry insiders see this as an actual good thing comparative to years where they don't have that kind of supernova in the sport.
Yeah, I mean it's been a ratings monster for them for a long time. I mean the women's game in this, we love a bracket. That's the cheat code here, kids. America loves a bracket. We love Buckeye football, too. They are practicing today. What do we know as they are now ensconced in week 3? We will get to that. And as Reese mentioned, Ryan Day was on Morning Juice this morning. Had some really interesting comments about recruiting and coming off the heels of landing a star safety from Baton Rouge. What exactly can we learn from that? We'll get into all of that. Loaded up for you here on a Tuesday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
The Roofing Guys are your locally owned, trusted family business right here in Central Ohio. They've been hammering quality and service through the roof for over 25 years, offering professional services in roofing, siding, gutters, and more. Contact them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
Columbus knows what it takes to be a champion. Just like your favorite team, Caster Connection plays to win. Our heavy-duty casters and wheels offer unmatched durability and ergonomic performance from manufacturing and material handling and beyond. With an unrivaled online inventory and the best consultative experts in the industry, we'll help you find the right caster for any job. Shop now at casterconnection.com and save 10% on online orders with promo code ROLL10. Not a retail location. Home values in Columbus are sky high, and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market has peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's time. Except for 2 things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? TrueHold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. TrueHold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much TrueHold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com. Spring into a new vehicle at Crown Automotive Group of Dublin. Luxury, power, and adventure, all waiting for you. Explore our vast selection of exquisite Mercedes-Benz, the all-new rugged Ineos Grenadier, and the powerful lineup of Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram vehicles. Crown Automotive Group in Dublin is the only dealership in Columbus awarded a J.D. Power Dealer of Excellence for the customer sales experience. Visit Crown Automotive Group of Dublin on Perimeter Drive in Dublin or online at crowncarsdublin.com. Crown Automotive Group, the better way to buy.
Anthony Rothman here for Tel Ohio. Tel Ohio Credit Union has been financing dreams and fueling the local economy for 90 years. And as the #1 SBA lender among Ohio credit unions, learn why more than 3,000 business owners trust Tel Ohio. Visit telohio.org/business.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students. If you miss a little, you'll miss a lot. Search for your favorite fan shows wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe. Every episode comes right to your phone absolutely free. Modern technology, it's a hell of a thing. Do it now. The Fan.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Does heel pain make you hobble just getting out of bed in the morning? If heel pain is affecting your ability to exercise and meet your walking or running goals, relief is as close as your local podiatrist. Podiatric physicians are highly trained doctors who specialize in medical and surgical treatment of the foot and ankle. Ohio Foot and Ankle podiatric physicians are available across the state and are devoted to providing the highest quality foot and ankle care.
For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A pretty pleasant day for us with temperatures in the mid to low 50s and mostly sunny skies. But Wednesday will start off with mostly sunny to partly sunny skies. Have a chance of showers and storms late morning, early afternoon. It will be warm and windy with our highs getting into the mid to upper 70s, but stay weather aware late Wednesday. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan, Ohio sports destination. 10 feet tall and bulletproof isn't just a saying, it's a way of life. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
So just talking to my wife, NBC, 7th grader, second day back from spring break, texts her and says, "Where's my Chromebook?" And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "I don't have my Chromebook." And if you don't have children, if you don't have a Chromebook, basically there's no reason to be in school. You're not going to do anything without it. The whole operation is on one of these things, is the way that it works. They don't have textbooks anymore for the old people out there. Everything's on a Chromebook. So this sets her off. She's trying to get the little two to school. I dropped him off earlier. Sets her off in a panic. She's scouring the house looking for the Chromebook, his room, all the places. I'm like, I don't understand. Like, why would he not? She's like, "Did he leave it in your car?" I said, "No, I don't. Check my car." And he's not in the car, nothing there. So she's in his room. She's everywhere. And she finally texts him and she's like, "I don't know where it is. Where did you put it?" And it's getting a little heated. And then he responds, "April Fools." Fair or foul?
That's good. That's fair.
Oh, good job out of him.
I mean, Apple don't fall far.
That is an incredible job out of him.
That's a great job.
Wow.
I mean,
he should have worked it a little longer, so one of you were so she was on the way to pick him up, and then said it.
I wondered as you were saying that, does she at any point get so fed up? She goes, you know what? You're not on until 10 o'clock. You take it to it.
Yes.
Then it becomes a problem because it starts to mess with this program. But because it didn't.
I'm not sure she's aware that this is a 3-hour program now. I still think she probably thinks it starts at 10. Yeah. So I think it's a little bit Ron Burgundy. Like, I'm not even mad. I'm kind of impressed that you ate a whole wheel of cheese. Like, it's a kind of a good job out of him. So he got her on the April Fool's. So good job out of him. No April Fool's for the Buckeyes. They are back at it today. Spring practice today. Post-practice interviews will take place up at the Woody. Secondary coach Tim Walton. Select cornerbacks. Safeties coach McNary. And select safeties as well. So you'll probably get a little Caleb Downs in there. You'll get some of the newcomers, Igbinosa and those type of guys are going to be able to talk. And then the backfield coaches on the defensive side. I mentioned this yesterday. I think it's worth kind of reiterating that. And you're going to hear from Ryan Day and his philosophy and recruiting coming up. He was on Juice this morning. We're going to play some of that for you here in about 10 minutes. But I think it speaks to something that I talked about with the Juice Bringers this morning. I think Ryan Day and Mark Pantoni, his general manager, are right now at an expert level of how to build a roster and how to build a program and maintain it. And it's something as simple as what they have done with availability of their players. And if you're out there driving around and you're listening, you're like, oh, who cares if you guys get to talk to Riley Pettijohn? And honestly, like, what are we going to get out of talking to Riley Pettijohn? Like, the sites are going to love it because he's a 5-star kid from Texas and you want to hear him talk. And the diehards out there want to click on that and hear what a 5-star linebacker has to say. But it's really bigger than that. And what it is Ohio State has become, and we coined this on this show 7 years ago, it's NFLU. It is NFL preparation school, NFL prep school. That's what it is. And it's not wide receiver U, it's not linebacker U, it's not quarterback U or cornerback U or D-end U, it's NFL U. And it's not just preparing you to play at the next level in terms of the position coaching you're going to get or the coordinator coaching you're going to get. It's also preparing you how to be a pro off the field. Urban was doing this with Real Life Wednesdays years ago. I know Ryan still does a lot of that. A lot of guest speakers in, talking to these guys about real life, but also exposing them. You guys have to understand, I'm old enough to remember a time when they hid Terrell Pryor for the entire year, and he was the starting quarterback. He talked twice. He talked at Picture Day, and he didn't talk again until the Fiesta Bowl game. After. He didn't even talk before it. They kept him out of it. The whole team was supposed to talk. They made Todd Beckman start at quarterback so that Terrell Pryor wouldn't have to face the media. It's not like there was anything to face. He was a freshman. He was ballyhooed. James told that story of the SI interview where I think it was him and Marcus had to sit in on the interview with Terrell. Like, so you went from like protecting, shielding, and some of this is just where we are as a program. And there's no doubt in my mind Tress would do things differently now because of the climate of what the sport is. But now you get a kid on campus like Jeremiah Smith, go talk. I mean, you remember last year at the spring game when it's being broadcast by Fox and Ryan Day says, watch this, with a kid who still be going to his high school prom? That's a different approach. That's a modern approach to football. And they have hit and checked every box, I think, on how to do it. It's the perfect blend of, yes, we will incentivize you with NIL. We're going to teach you how to be a pro on the field and off. And we're not going to chase nonsense. We're not. We're not going to pay $2.5 million for a left tackle versus Tennessee. Just not what we're going to do. We're going to do it a different way. And there's certain type of players that they're going to go after. But I think this is one part of it. That when you come here, you are really coming to NFL prep and NFL finishing school. And I think you're going to see that in the draft. You're going to see 14 Buckeyes picked, man. And they're all going to be ready to go.
141 or 140 plus talent evaluators at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center last week. It figured, hey, do you need something on your roster? Like, what do you need?
Yeah.
Come to Columbus. We have one for you. One of those wherever, like pick the position, and there is something there for you. Like even gigantic punter Nick McLarty was just in attendance, and I'm sure NFL teams said, look at that man.
Yeah.
That's a large person. I wonder if he can kick a ball over that mountaintop. Maybe we'll take a flyer on him.
But I think it's always been one of the things that attracts people to Ohio State, right? Because you have a guy like a Jordan Fuller who gets drafted in the 7th round, but he's ready to go in the next level, and he goes to the Rams and is one of the best rookie defensive players that year because he's a guy that even though he didn't have all the pomp and circumstance, he was ready to play at the next level. And also, Ohio State has always done a good job of preparing their guys for the next level of life, even if that wasn't a pro career. And, I mean, we know even around here, like former players, if they want to get into the media and they want to do it, they've got a job. If they want to get into travel agency, they've got a job here in Columbus. So I think it's always been one of the things that's been so great about Ohio State is they prepare guys, and you're right, they prepare them for the next level, but they also prepare them for life too.
Well, and I think the growth in our town has Ohio State has benefited tremendously by the boom town that we've become, and they've evolved with it. And you mentioned that about, when you're done with your playing career, they're going to take care of you. Yeah, they will. The city takes care of the Buckeyes. It'll take care of them. And there's huge value in that. And Urban noticed it. I'm sure Tress noticed it too, but his program was a little bit more closed off in terms of what you could see them doing behind the scenes. Now, some of that, again, is just a product of the era. There wasn't social media, so they weren't putting everything these guys did on social the way that they do now, so you can kind of see all of it. But yeah, I think all of those pieces matter. I think they do, and I think if you're Jake Diebler, you're Kevin McGuff, you're everybody else at Ohio State, you're looking at that and you're saying, what of that can we take? While acknowledging that what the football team can sell is a little different than what those two operations can sell. But they are maximizing currently what Ohio State football can be. So they're practicing today. This is practice number 9. They will be off tomorrow and then back at it Thursday. Then Saturday's the fun one. That is the Student Appreciation Day. That's the one where I really like that one. That one I almost like as much as the spring game now. I realize we're not all in it, but it's just such a cool connective tissue between program and campus, and usually get a pretty good lean about what's kind of happening through spring ball with that one. And then, of course, the spring game is on. Are they still calling it Spring Showcase, or after Ryan Day yesterday, is it now back to being the spring game?
I think the official phrasing is Showcase, but I think if the coach keeps using game more and more and more, they might just scrap it.
Bo, that was one of those pay attention to the scores type things this morning. I thought with Ryan is he didn't use the word showcase. He used spring game this morning talking to the Juice Bringers.
Yeah, and so I think he needs to play that. I think there's a bunch of young kids who've got to get going. So that will be on Saturday, April 12th, and so that's where you are on that front. Busy time, starting to get a lot of good work done. We went over some of the highlights of that. We'll continue with those highlights. And what I think we know about this spring, you're also going to hear from Ryan Day. He was on with the Juice Bringers this morning. That's all in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Switching to Progressive is a game-winning call. And that reminds us of other game-winning calls in the history of sports.
So it was the fourth quarter and we're down by 5. Sweat pouring down my face. Suddenly it hit me. If only I could wrap part of the towel around my forehead. And that's how I became the first basketball player to wear a headband.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Well, here we are again, and I got to tell you, Jim, this match has me really concerned.
Here we have a powerful heavyweight, a train, weighing in at 6,000 tons. And this hasty lightweight challenger, a car, at just 1.5 tons?
This does not bode well for the car or the people in it.
It's no contest. Every day, people are injured or killed trying to beat a train at rail crossings. See tracks, think train.
Feeling unsure about preparing your roof for spring storms? Newman Roofing is here for you. For over 30 years, we've helped homeowners understand their roof's condition so they can make the best decision for their home. Stop worrying and call 614-NEW-ROOF or visit NewmanRoofing.com today. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 3 restaurant locations, Grandview, Gahanna, and now in Westerville. Drink local. Drink High Bank.
And here's what's up on a Tuesday. Buckeye head football coach Ryan Day was on with Morning Juice this morning. Touched on myriad topics. I did want to start. We were trying to see where we are through 8 practices of spring. Why not go straight to the source? Here's Ryan Day on where the Buckeyes stand as they're practicing right now in practice number 9.
It's been good. This group has got a lot of intensity, got a lot of edge to it. So far spring has been very, very competitive. And I think going into spring, one of the things that we talked a lot about was, we got to make sure coming off of a 16-game season that we're smart about what we do. But the more we get into it, realizing we got to replace 13 starters, we realize we need more and more reps as we go. So we're about halfway through right now. It's been competitive. It's been good. Still got a lot of work to do.
I think that's where that conversation about spring game versus spring showcase comes in, and it's right there in that answer. It's right there when he talks about reps. He's talking about replacing 13 starters. He's talking about guys who are multi-year starters, 3-year starters, in some cases parts of 4-year starters. It's just a massive gap of players who just haven't had reps, haven't played in front of big crowds, haven't played in the shoe with a lot of people watching them live and to the point where they're counted on. I'm not talking about coming in and playing spot duty. I'm like, this is you. It's your turn now. And that also speaks to the leadership void. And when you talk about 13 guys, and so many of them were central big boy leaders, there are young guys who are going to have to lead now, and that is something that cannot be forced. It has to come naturally. Ryan Day, well aware of that. He spoke with the fellas about replacing the leadership.
We have talent, and I think we've had talent in the past, but it's the other part that, like you're talking about, the experience, the leadership, the football IQ. You start to list all these things that are really the intangible things that when they walk out the door, you got to replace them. I think we have it in the building right now, but these guys just need more of opportunity to show that leadership, and try to find as many of those situations that we can create, in the weight room, on the field, and then they just need to play the game more. And the more they do that, the more they'll learn. And that's one of the big messages right now to our team is that, hey, you're going to make mistakes when you get on the field, but the great players, don't make them twice. They learn from it, they grow, and they continue to get better.
If you are recruited to play at Ohio State, you possess leadership. There's just no way. It's 85 alphas. You don't get there by not being a leader. Now, 2 types of leadership, positive, negative. And that's the thing that you're trying to really harvest here is that positive leadership, the type of players who can lift people up. A great example of this and a way how it happened organically was last year with Will. Will Howard played 4 years at Kansas State, showed up here, went through spring last year with the black stripe. Reese, we were all out there at practice last August and watching and going like, okay, that's obvious. Like he's the guy. He was starting to grab it, but it wasn't all the way there. And then somewhere, probably after the Oregon game, when he stood up and took the slings and arrows that happened after that, you said, okay, this is a guy we can ride with. But I remember Penn State being the one where it was like, oh, he's got it now. He's got the program by the throat. Penn State week about how they slighted him, how they didn't recruit him, all of those things. And then it became really Will Howard, Jack Sawyer. It became their team at that point. So that's an organic way that leadership can take place. And you're having to replace a lot of that at key positions. I mean, you think of Caleb Downs, I think of Sonny Styles on the defensive side. Offensively, naturally, you go Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith. Offensively, though, that really has to come at quarterback. And we talked about that a little bit yesterday with Sayan, who I think very clearly, based on the way Ryan answered questions yesterday. I mean, it's a competition, but it's not kind of thing. But I think that leadership thing is going to be interesting to see how that void is filled, because it's a ton of leadership out the window.
Yeah, my hope for at least this spring, and I do understand the importance that, even with Cody Simon on the defensive side of the ball, just like how important it is to have a guy when everything's going wrong you can look to and say, correct this, please. And it's no sweat off their brow to be like, all right, I got you. Yeah. And I think that's what a middle linebacker provides. I think that's what a quarterback provides that's played a lot of football. I hope, and I don't know, hope might be the wrong word, but if they're going to put too much emphasis on being a leader for these young quarterbacks in the spring, because they've just got to learn how to do the job right now. Like the leadership will come with competency and with an understanding of this offense, I think, but being the rah-rah guy, or the first guy and last guy out, like you talk about, everybody that gets recruited to Ohio State's a leader. I have no doubt that all the quarterbacks are first guy in, last guy out type of guys.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like, where are we going to put too much emphasis on? Because I still think right now it needs to less leadership, more quarterback competency.
And we know
that's
that
one of those ones where we'll find out. We'll find out. That we're not going to know till Texas.
No,
honestly.
And that's the thing.
We just won't know till Texas, which is fun, but pretty heavy. Go ahead, Beck.
And, Bo, then the leadership part is very interesting, because I get the feeling like on the defensive side, like you talked about Caleb and Sonny, and I think of a guy like Davison Igbinosun, who's probably real vocal in that room.
Yeah.
But then it comes in a different way, too, with a guy like Jeremiah Smith, where I don't get the feeling, and I obviously don't know this, I'm not there, but you don't get the feeling that he says a lot, but probably when he does, it carries weight. But he kind of is a leader with his work ethic, right? And the way he does
Absolutely.
things. And
you need to have both, Bake, right? You got to have both. You got to have the guys who show it, and then you also have to have the guys who pull you along verbally.
Absolutely.
They need both of it. And this goes back to the quality of human that they're recruiting and the way that they've kind of changed their recruiting philosophy. I thought this was a fascinating answer. Ryan on with Morning Juice this morning talking about the recruiting philosophy and how it has evolved since his time at Ohio State began.
Recruiting now more than ever, at least here at Ohio State, like we open up our doors and we identify those that we think are a good fit in terms of their athletic ability and how they fit into our schemes, but also how they fit into the program, the city of Columbus, being a Buckeye. But opening up our doors and saying, man, this is who we are. And not as much, maybe in the past there was, a little more of a sales job. And the reason for that is because guys can walk out the door at any moment. So what you do in recruiting, it has to be authentic. And, Ohio State's not for everybody. And so to explain exactly what it looks like, what our expectations are, what the expectations are here in Ohio for those who are from outside the state. The great thing is, I think that there's some really good young talent in the state of Ohio. So that's been great to see that coming up, because we know that's our foundation. But to answer your question, a big part of it is to explain exactly what we do here, what the expectations are in terms of leadership. And then guys are just, naturally attracted to it or they're not, and that's the big thing in recruiting. I mean, once you get here, you have to live it. You have to want to be here so that, when adversity hits, you're willing to work through those tough times. And I think a big part of that is identifying the recruiting process, but also guys choose it, more almost than you talk them into it.
How many programs in the country can do that don't have to sell themselves? That say this is who we are, either you're in or you're out. How many are there?
5.
Just a handful.
Yeah. It's Georgia here. It used to be Bama. Now I think Kalen DeBoer's got to sell it a little bit. I don't think it's Texas yet. I think it's close. Is it Oregon?
I was going to say Oregon, yeah.
Is it Oregon a little?
Especially because they're still taking recruits from Ohio State.
Yeah, it could be Notre Dame a little. I bet Marcus has a little bit of that, but he also has to sell it because that's you're selling something different at Notre Dame than you're selling here. My point is that Ryan Day can do that because of 100 years of winning. He can say, this is who we are because 100 years of winning. He can do it with his chest fully puffed out because of what they just did. We just did this. Do you want to be a part of this? Do you want to win national championships? Do you want to be the most important thing in a monster state? Come here. And it ain't for everybody. And you can take that approach when you're Ryan Day. You think about this, you think about when you have something that everybody wants, it doesn't have to go on sale. Right? There's never a 20% off at Pappy Van Winkle. Doesn't happen. Like, always find bourbon at a profit if possible, if not, fine. Like, that's it. You're not going to get it on the clearance shelf, right? You're not going to see a Rolex on sale. They don't have to. The demand is there. That Ohio State is that. And there aren't many, to your point, who can do that, who can open their doors and say, this is who we are, for better or worse. Are you interested in this? And if not, we'll see you on down the road.
And a big reason you can do that, Bo, is what we talked about earlier, right? NFLU. 15 guys getting drafted in this draft. Chris Olave, Marvin Harrison, Garrett Wilson, the Bosa brothers, Chase Young, all of those guys. There's a list and a track record.
It's 100 years. It's John Hicks. I mean, it's Arch. It's Hop Cassidy. It's Vic Janowitz. Chick Harley. It's 100 years. That's it. You're selling something that nobody else can really sell. And even in an era, if you're a kid and you don't know who any of those names are, the names that Bake just mentioned, you sure as hell do. And there aren't that many programs who can sell it that way.
And in our lifetime, there's never really been a miss in hiring the head coach. Every other school, it feels like, that we mentioned that you don't need to sell has had a miss or several misses. Not in Columbus.
Ohio State has not had a miss since that hired Woody Hayes in the 50s. Not one. Everybody they hired is a Hall of Famer. Every one of them. Yeah. So that's how you can sell something like this. That's how you can go and say, this is who we are. Are you in or are you out? It's not show friends, it's show business. We're in the business of putting you in the NFL and winning a bunch of football games. Do you want to be a part of it? And we're going to be choosy. We're not going to take punks. Not going to do it. Don't need to. Just won a national championship without having to do that. Don't need to do it. Don't need to risk. It's something that you cannot do if you're at Michigan State. You can't do it at Penn State. You can't do it at many places around the country, but you can still do it here, and we're one of the handful of it, and it feels like they're hitting on all cylinders. Ryan, Pantoni, everybody. And that's what allows for 13 starters gone, going to start the year first or second in the country, bring on Texas, let's go win it again. That mentality. It's a wild thing that we're very blessed to be able to live in the world of. Marvin Harrison with some very strong comments about Jeremiah Smith. We will have that for you coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like early pay, moving up payday so you could get your money faster, up to 2 days faster. And there's no cost. It's your money, right? So stop playing the waiting game. It's just one more way we're looking out for people every day. Is your bank looking out for you? Maybe it's time to switch. Visit your neighborhood Huntington branch or make the switch at huntington.com/yourmoney. Direct deposit and eligibility requirements apply.
Men over 40, struggling with low energy, not feeling like yourself. Low T Center's testosterone replacement therapy is the solution. Get started today. Visit one of their conveniently located clinics, meet a medical provider, and get back to feeling your best. This April only, the consultation is free. Treatment is tailor-made just for you, and it's covered by most major insurance. Get treated at one of the Low T Centers or from home. Why wait? Book your appointment now at lowtcenter.com. That's lowtcenter.com.
Ever wonder where your go-to maintenance person gets the metal products they need to fix yours and everyone else's problems? The best in the business go to Metal Supermarkets for their wide variety of metal products and shapes to tackle projects from simple to complex. Metal Supermarkets is your source for all metals cut to size and ready fast. No minimum order with maximum service. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or at Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
Guys, it's college hoops superfan Timmy Hall. The finals are here, and the only thing for sure is this. It's the last time to bet on college basketball this season. It's been an amazing ride to get here, so get in on all the action, expected and unexpected, with DraftKings Sportsbook. Live betting, exclusive content, promos, and parlays. DraftKings is the ultimate college basketball destination for March. Ready to make the first bet? Check out the matchups, pick a team to win. It's that simple. First time, here's something special. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. So bet the unexpected with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code TheFan971. That's code TheFan971 for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, Ohio only. Eligibility restrictions apply. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Oh, hey, a fan show where you can be the star. Sundays at 11 is the new Fan Call-In Show presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Your calls, your tweets, your voicemails, your opinions. You could be a homer, a hater, or whatever you want to be. Your family may not listen to you, but we will. The Fan Call-In Show presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Sundays at 11 on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BODY to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text BODY to 321-321. That's BODY to 321-321.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Keep your friends close and your producers closer. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Tiger Woods, apparently, now also following suit of my 13-year-old son with a tweet an hour ago. I can't believe I'm saying this, but a few weeks after rupturing my left Achilles, sleeping in a hyperbaric chamber, plus the explosive lifts, my doctors and trainers have me ready to play the Masters next week. Can't wait. See you all on the course. P.S. April Fools. My Achilles is still a mess. But see, that's not a funny one, Tiger. It's not a funny one.
You know how many people's hopes just got up?
I mean, did anybody have any sense of normalcy? It's an Achilles. Like, didn't we learn from Aaron Rodgers?
But this is Tiger Woods. He's superhuman.
Jeez. Like, it's an Achilles, man. The Achilles injury, I've told this before, used to play morning basketball 2 days a week. And we used to play Tuesdays and Thursdays early, like 5:30, I think is when it was. So you'd get up early, you'd play, and I loved it. I love playing pickup basketball. Still my favorite way to exercise. But I was on a Monday night, I was watching the New Orleans Pelicans play, and it's when they had Anthony Davis and Boogie Cousins. And it was just different. Like, everybody in the NBA went small, and they were big, and they were winning, and it was the two bigs, and it just looked different. They were playing San Antonio. It was at home, and there was like less than a minute left in the game, and Boogie Cousins went down with an Achilles. I was watching the game live when he went down with the Achilles. And the announcer said, and it's not like you thought that an Achilles was anything less than that, but the announcers articulated that it would be at least a year before he was back, that he would miss basically all of the next season, because this was like in March or something like that when he tore it, March. And it was like, well, he's going to miss all of next season. And at that point, it hit me. That is a 23, 24-year-old man, peak athletic ability. And for him, it's a year. Dummy, if you tear an Achilles as a man and you're 40, you're done. Forget it. Like, I'm not doing rehab. I'm just walking around with a torn Achilles for the rest of my life. Like, that's the reality of it. So when you see, like, Tiger's older than me. So you think torn Achilles, you're done. Aaron Rodgers, torn Achilles, done. We'll talk about Jimmy Haslam's comments about Deshaun Watson. 2 Achilles tears in less than 3 months, you're done. You're not playing. That's over. So that's the reality of the Achilles. So I don't know how many people possibly would be fooled by that, but that is something that you fear every day when you reach a certain age of like, is this the one where I'm going to tear the damn thing? All right, go ahead, guys.
Well, I just saw someone make a point that the NFL deciding on rule changes on April Fool's Day is quite the move. Like, they're going to vote on the tush push sometime either this morning or early in the afternoon. And when that comes out, it looks like it's about to get banned because it feels like the consensus is trending that way. People are going to be like, am I getting April Fooled here?
It's funny, over in the YouTube, loyal listener Phil said something about that they just voted to allow both teams to possess the ball in overtime. And you're like, wait a second, what day is this? So it does seem like kind of awkward timing for the NFL to vote on all of this today.
Yeah, the one thing I will say on that front, the NFL should just use the college rule. I just think they don't want to give college credit for it. Just use the college rule and turn the stats off. I think that's what they're worried about, is guys throwing 9 touchdowns because they can't get a stop in overtime. Just turn the stats off. It ends up fixing itself pretty quickly. You do the go for 2 thing, that sorts itself out pretty quickly. You don't see that in college football, even like those 7 overtime games anymore. That's happened once or twice. Like, it's pretty rare. It usually sorts itself out by the first or second overtime. It's just a good way to do it. It's efficient. It's good. So giving both teams the ball, that's a step towards that, I guess. But to me, like, just do the college rule and then you got to win. Marvin Harrison Jr. back on the farm. He was a guest on the podcast with our buddy Austin Ward and Berm, and was asked about Jeremiah Smith. And here's what Marvin Harrison Jr. had to say.
I watch football. Like, I can watch receivers and like, okay, he's good, or he's great. I could have told you guys this was going to happen. Just watching highlights. Yeah, just watching highlights.
His sophomore year of high school when he's here camping.
It's just people. I feel like people, and I hate to put pressure on him. Like, so I don't
think he feels it. That's what's unique about him.
But like, I think he is LeBron James of football.
Wow.
Like, he's built differently than everybody else. Just athletically gifted. Just the mindset that he has as a football player. It's really special to see. Just the talent's out the roof, who he is as a person, his character. There is no limit for him. Right? He can do whatever he wants to do. Like, every record there is at Ohio, he's going to have it. It's just, there's nothing he's going to leave college not having done.
It begs the question, high praise, obviously, from someone who ought to know. And I did like the LeBron comparison, not from the standpoint of he's going to be the greatest of all time, but just physically built different. That was the thing that was noticeable about LeBron, even the first time you saw him as a high school kid. It was like, okay, nobody has that muscle proportion and has that size at 6'8", but moves like they're 6'3". That's what LeBron always did. He moves like a little guard, except he's a monster human. That's the difference maker. And that's the thing Jeremiah Smith has. So I think that comparison's pretty cool. But it does beg the question, like, what would satisfy over the next 2 years from Jeremiah Smith? When you're a first-team All-American and win a national championship as a freshman, how the hell do you top that? How do you even maintain that? I mean, like, Adrian Peterson is probably the closest example I can think of in college football in my time covering it, of a guy who just was a star right away and probably should have won the Heisman as a true freshman, but never reached. That's the best example I can come up with of a guy who just was ready from day one.
I think that's it. You win the Heisman. Become the second wide receiver in the last, 20 years to do it.
I think it's pretty interesting that you have a guy who kind of had those kind of comparisons himself. Yeah. When he got on campus here at Ohio State, to then be saying that about the guy that came in immediately after him. I think it's one of the fascinating things when you think about the Ohio State football team this year. The numbers Jeremiah Smith put up last year with Emeka Egbuka, with those backs, 2 backs that went for 1,000 yards as well. You still have talented players, right? But you don't have the track record of production that those 3 had. No. I mean, the numbers that Jeremiah Smith could possibly put up this year could be staggering when you think about it.
What if they give him 12 targets a game?
And why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they?
Him and Carnell, and they have all. It's just, it's going to be a fun time, man. It's going to be fun to see all that comes of it. I should remind you, it's your Uncle Bo here, proud to tell you about my friends at Diamond Cellar. They know that forever starts with the perfect diamond. For over 78 years, their family has helped generations of couples celebrate love with brilliance, quality, and unbeatable prices. At Diamond Cellar, bigger diamonds and better prices are their promise to you. Whether you're popping the question or upgrading your sparkle, trust the experts at Diamond Cellar because diamonds are their forte. Visit Diamond Cellar today, Sawmill Road, Easton Town Center. Learn more at diamondcellar.com. Tell them your Uncle Bo sent you. They'll take care of you on that side of things. We hit the real truth coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
The only radio show Ryan Day listens to when we're holding him hostage, making him listen to a radio show. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Breaking news, and this one is almost... Ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. T&Cs apply.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 6.50%, APR 6.56% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3RD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
There's a new way to surround yourself with savings at Giant Eagle and Market District. Shop Giant Eagle's uncompromising quality at a reliable price with everyday savings. Look for signs throughout the store to find bargains on produce, meat, and more. At Giant Eagle, we combine exceptional customer service and quality foods, all at great value to make the most of your shopping trip. Visit Giant Eagle or Market District today to see how easy it is to save.
Common Man here for Weed Man. I always have the greenest lawn in the neighborhood. It's luscious. I swear by two things, water and Weed Man. Weed Man is locally owned and operated by Corbin and Audrey. They will make sure your lawn is weed-free and looking gorgeous. Of course, they get rid of weeds, but they also do aeration, mosquito control, grub control, crabgrass prevention, and flea and tick control for your four-legged friends. For a free quote, give them a call, 614-733-3747, weedmanusa.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
I can't wait to meet her. Oh my gosh.
Put your hands together for new Dr. Pepper Blackberry and Dr. Pepper Blackberry Zero Sugar.
There she is! Woohoo! Yeah! It's full Dr. Pepper!
With sweet blackberry flavor!
Dr. Pepper Blackberry, I'm obsessed with your succulent taste. Please marry me!
No! Marry me! Marry hurry me or I'm gonna freak out!
Try new Dr. Pepper Blackberry.
It's a pepper thing!
Care Heating and Cooling. Honest technicians, honest pricing. Call 1-800-COOLING.
This is Corey Sickles with Safe Harbor Retirement Group. How much income will you need to retire? Let us help make sure you reach your financial goals. Visit safeharboroh.com to schedule a complimentary meeting. safeharboroh.com.
Michelle Smallman here for the Capital One Venture X card. If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, you can earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn all of your purchases into extraordinary travel. And you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book through Capital One Travel. Plus, you'll get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The women's Final Four is all set. Texas beat TCU last night 58-47. Longhorns win the Birmingham 3 region and will play South Carolina in the first national semifinal Friday night in Tampa. The other Final Four game will feature UConn and UCLA. The Huskies punched their ticket last night with a 78-64 win over USC. The national championship game will be played Sunday at the Amalie Arena. In baseball, Reds and Guardians are 2-2 on the season. Cincinnati beat Texas 14-3 last night. Elly De La Cruz had 7 RBI in the win. Both teams are back at the Great American Ballpark tonight at 6:40. In San Diego Monday, the Padres beat the Guardians 7-2. They'll go again tonight at 9:40. In the minors, the Clippers host St. Paul tonight at 6:15. The home opener for Columbus adds to a busy night in the Arena District. The Blue Jackets host the Predators at 7. You can hear Blue Jackets hockey and breaking sports news when it happens, all on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Taking the art of sports radio and day drinking to a whole new level. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, Uncle Dom going to drop by in 28 minutes. We'll go around college football in about 15. Between now and then, we hit the real truth. Hit it, fellas.
Bishop and Friends present The Real Truth.
Sponsored by Diamond Cellar. Over 76 years of experience and guaranteed lowest prices on Sawmill Road or diamondcellar.com.
The Pittsburgh Steelers and Cleveland Browns have their current starting quarterbacks on their roster. Is that the real truth?
And we'll talk about this at greater length in the third hour of the program, but I think one of them might. Now, I don't know necessarily that it's the starting quarterback for all time, but could I see the Cleveland Browns starting the season with Kenny Pickett as the starting quarterback? Yes, I could. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that being the case. Pickett's 15-10 as a starter, former first-round pick. It's a bite at the apple of a guy who was identified as a first-round pick a couple of years ago. Quite honestly, Pittsburgh probably wishes they still had him versus their current situation. I think it's far more likely that could be the case for the Browns, and I don't think that would preclude them from taking a quarterback at 2 if it was the right one. I don't think it would preclude them from trying to add some other veteran in the room, but I do think they like Pickett, and I think it's possible that they could start that way. It's so hard for me to believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers, with that roster, with Cam Hayward still playing at that level, with T.J. Watt and Minkah Fitzpatrick and the acquisition of DK Metcalf, it's just so hard for me to imagine. By the way, he was throwing with Aaron Rodgers at UCLA. You're really going to like Mason Rudolph, Skylar Thompson it? I don't buy that. So I don't think either one of these teams will trade for Kirk Cousins. I don't. It feels like Rodgers will end up in Pittsburgh is kind of the way that it feels to me, like that's going to shake out. If Cousins is cut by the Falcons, I could see him ending up in Cleveland, but they're not going to trade for him. They can't pay him that money, and they're not going to give up the draft capital. They need too much of it. So I think it's possible. This is kind of a little bit of I'm kind of bailing on the question of the real truth. So I guess the answer would be no, because I don't think both of them starting is, but I think it's possible Pickett could start for the Browns.
This isn't the real truth. This can't be the real truth. God, I hope for both of these fan bases, this isn't the real truth. Bo, I will say this. I don't think the Steelers wish they had Kenny Pickett still, because I think they have more faith in Mason Rudolph. They know Mason Rudolph. They know what they have in him, and I think that they're fine having Mason Rudolph and not Kenny Pickett. I just can't believe that both of these teams, like the Cleveland Browns, gave up their whole franchise to get Deshaun Watson because they wanted to have what they considered more competent quarterback play, and then just a couple years later, they're going to go into the season with Kenny Pickett as their starting quarterback. Like, and listen, I can see it being a possibility because I'm a Browns fan, and it probably will happen. But I just can't believe that either of these franchises would let this happen.
Two different circumstances on both of them. On the Pickett side, the one thing I would say is that when he was in Pittsburgh, it was with Matt Canada's offense, and the offense that Arthur Smith runs would be far more compatible to what Pickett is than certainly what Canada's offense. Anyone who covers, it was a mess, utter mess, what they were in. He's limited, obviously, physically, but at the same time, to me, you mentioned the Watson thing. It wasn't about more competent play. It was about getting a game changer. And that's what they thought that they were getting. And that's what all the teams that were in on Watson thought they were getting. They thought they were getting the guy who led the NFL in passing the last full year he was a starter. Now, there was no way of knowing how much the off-field stuff would affect him or how it would affect him mentally. There's obviously no way of knowing about the injuries or how severe the NFL's punishment was going to be on him in year one. But the guy you thought you were getting was a top-5 quarterback in the NFL and just never materialized.
So I'm going to assume, the Browns are already working on that graphic that teams put out. Our quarterback, week 1, Kenny Pickett. Boy, that's good. That's going to hit.
There's a price you pay, and we'll talk about this at greater length, but there's a price you pay when you swing like this, like they did at quarterback, and to acquire a player like what Watson was. This only salts the wound. But this is his last full season starting in Houston. 70% completions, 4,800 yards, 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, a quarterback rating of 112.4. His quarterback rating his first 4 years playing in Houston, 103, 103.1, 98, 112. Touchdown to interception, 19-8, 26-9, 26-12, 33-7. By the way, rush totals, 551, 413, 444. They thought they were getting a franchise quarterback who never becomes available, mind you guys, ever. Those players do not become available.
Jeremiah Smith will break Jackson Smith and Jigba's single-season receiving yards record in 2025. Is that the real truth?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the real truth. I mean, the other thing, I think one thing we're going to have to do with college football is try to decide what to do statistically. I mean, you're talking about guys who played for the longest time in the sport, played 12 or 13 games, at most 14. Now you're going to be talking about guys playing 16 games in many instances. If Ohio State gets to the Final Four again next year, wins a couple of playoff games, gets to the Final Four, Jeremiah Smith could easily be a 2,000-yard receiver. It's almost like they need to turn the stats off once they get through like the last week of the regular season, because all of these single season records are going to get annihilated.
So I think, Bo, if Ohio State does get to the Final Four of a playoff, I think he probably will break this record. But if they don't, I don't think this is the real truth, because I think Ohio State will still try to feed everyone. And there's a lot of mouths to feed on this team if we think that these guys are as good as they are. And also, Ohio State just has a track record of not trying to blow anyone out. They're nice to everyone, and they don't want to show anyone up. So Jeremiah Smith may be in the game late, but I'm guessing they're not going to be throwing the ball to him a lot in some of these games, late in these games, because they just don't bury anyone. So if they make a long run in the playoffs, yes, he might.
Yeah.
But if they don't, I don't think this is the real truth.
Yeah, I think that's the big caveat there. So just for perspective, he had 13, 15, and 15 touchdowns last year while they had Emeka Egbuka and those two backs. So but again, 16 games. I mean, I just pulled up like the playoff run for him alone, and you're talking about 290. I'm doing state school, so math on live radio is not the best. 290, 378, 381. No, yeah, 381 or thereabouts in the postseason is what he put up. So 13-18, he wasn't a 1,000-yard receiver through the Michigan game. It was the 4 that went on that added to it because he ended up at 13-15.
Final one, the Torpedo bat's going to be outlawed before the start of next baseball season. Is that the real truth?
I'll lean on you guys on this. I don't think they will because I think Manfred's got to do everything he can to bring eyeballs to the sport, even though their television package was a mess at the launch and all the rest of it. I mean, it's a sport that's teetering, not in terms of the live attendance. That's usually been pretty good. But I mean, he's got two teams playing. He's got two teams playing in minor league baseball parks right now, guys. Like the A's and the Rays are playing in minor league baseball parks. You got a team in Miami that just does not try at all. Like, there's some issues in Major League Baseball. So I think anything positive, and if they learned anything from 98, it's that offense wins. I mean, they turned a blind eye to the steroid scandal in 98 because it was good for business to have Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire chasing 61 home runs. So I think that he could easily follow the Bud Selig playbook here and allow for this. And by the way, these bats are within the parameters of the rules. What do you want them to do? They're wood bats. The circumference is legal. Science wins.
Chicks dig the long ball, right, Bo?
They do. Yeah, man.
I think we talked about this the other day in the whole any publicity is good publicity type thing. And this is pretty great for baseball right now because a lot of people are talking about their sport. I just wonder how long this conversation can last with these bats. And if they do decide, I don't think it'll be before next year, but maybe possibly another year of them, and they'll maybe decide, hey, somehow this is against the rule. I don't know. They'll look into it somehow and figure something.
On what grounds? Like, you guys are the baseball guys. On what grounds? These are the rules for a bat. We just changed the physics of the bat. Like, you're going to say, like, the barrel has to be the same circumference for a certain amount of inches? This is what we're doing? Barrel inches?
That would be the argument.
Yeah, I think that's tough.
Uniform circumference down a certain length of the barrel, then uniform circumference down the handle of the barrel, and then uniform circumference down the bottom tip of the barrel. But that sounded silly as I was saying it.
That's going to be clipped, and that will end up being in promotional material. That whole bit right there. That's how that's going to go. We'll go around college football coming up next. Coastal Carolina. I see you. We'll get to it. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Skyline nachos are back, and now there's a spicy version. Get them with Skyline's cheddar or habanero cheese, topped with fiery jalapeno slices. But hurry, Skyline's regular and new spicy nachos are only at participating restaurants for a limited time.
Hey friends, Beamer here. I've got to tell you, losing almost 70 pounds with Awaken 180 has absolutely changed my life. My motivation from the start, it was crystal clear. Get healthy, be more active, and become the dad that I wanted to be. All thanks to Awaken 180, well, that mission has been accomplished and then some. This program didn't just help me drop the weight, it completely reshaped my relationship with food. I've learned so much about nutrition and eating healthier, it just comes naturally now. Everything's easier, whether I'm running around after the little guy, hopping on a plane, middle seat, that's no problem. I've avoided that for years. That's not ideal, but I could do it. Life just seems a little more accessible now. And the best part, hands down, being active with my son. More energetic, more involved, fully present for every moment with my family. Trust me, nothing beats that feeling. And if you're ready to make that kind of a change for your health, your family, and your life, call Awaken 180 today, 844-346-1800, or online at awaken180weightloss.com. Again, that is 346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Now at participating locations, it's UDF's new Sicilian-style pizza. We serve it on our family recipe focaccia crust, handcrafted in our bakery. And right now, get any size Coca-Cola fountain drink free with your purchase. Pizza from United Dairy Farmers, made for you.
Okay, everyone, what did you think of the chocolate bar?
It's too chewy.
Feels kind of chalky.
Too much nougat.
I need to go brush my teeth.
Business is booming for Steph's small marketing research firm.
After all these focus groups, there's only one conclusion. I need more researchers.
And she's way too busy researching.
Does this have peanuts?
To waste time researching resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
1877X for kids. EGGSX for kids. 1877X for kids. Donate your eggs today.
Donate your eggs today at eggsforkids.org. That's eggs with an E. Your eggs, scrambled or not, can make a difference in the life of a child.
1877X for kids. Donate your eggs today.
Now also accepting donations of boats, homes, and eggs.
Here's a quick listening guide. When something's on the fan, it's on the station you're listening to right now. If I say something's on ESPN Columbus, it's on 1460 AM and the Fan's HD2. When in doubt, stream it on the Fan app. Thank you and good night.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Get a recap of all the day's news from across the state.
ONN affiliate WBNS TV reports.
Haley Kirby reporting in downtown Toledo.
From the State House, Kevin Landers.
ONN Canton.
ONN affiliate WKYC TV in Cleveland explains.
In Marietta, Brett Wharf, ONN News.
Emma Henderson in Genoa.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Listen at ONNradio.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts from the Ohio News Network. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A pretty pleasant day for us with temperatures in the mid to low 50s and mostly sunny skies. But Wednesday will start off with mostly sunny to partly sunny skies. Have a chance of showers and storms late morning, early afternoon. It will be warm and windy with our highs getting into the mid to upper 70s, but stay weather aware late Wednesday. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Matty Ice is currently bathing himself in creamy jalapeno dip. And I've officially run out of ways to tease this show. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays at noon.
The Fan. The perfect show for quarter zips and khaki shorts. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
I see James Franklin is on our buddy Ari Wasserman, Andy Staples' podcast. And one of his rules to live by is to not put ketchup on a hot dog. Like, he's quite passionate about it. I've never understood that. Why people have such a strong opinion on the ketchup on the hot dog. I am a ketchup, mustard, relish, onion. I'll take all of it. All of that. But what is the reason that the ketchup can't be on there? What did it ever do to the dog?
We did
the
this
people who consume the dogs.
Conversation actually last week. There were some that took umbrage with the ketchup on the hot dog. And I said, it's going in your mouth. I don't care what you put on it.
Which was also promotional material now.
Good work out of you.
Why?
What does it matter?
What was the pushback? Why was it? What? Like, who invented the hot dog? I imagine it feels like a very German invention, right? It feels like it. Stuff a bunch of meat into a skin cylinder and then away you go. That feels like So who said why they don't have ketchup in Germany? Is that the deal? Am I making up that hot dogs were invented in Germany?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Am I just deductive
some
reasoning?
People are so weird with that in their food, and like it's can only be this certain way, and if it's not, it's sacrilegious. And a lot of people think only mustard should be on a hot dog.
All right, so let's get this right. The exact origin of the hot dog is debated, according to AI quick Google search. German immigrants are credited with popularizing them in the 1800s. Charles Feltman opening a hot dog stand on Coney Island, which is where Coney dogs come from, around 1870. Of course, the German roots are well-founded. The hot dog's origin can be traced back to Frankfurt, Germany, a.k.a. Frankfurter. Pork sausages similar to hot dogs known as Frankfurter Würstchen were created in the late 13th century. So I guess I had that part right. There you go.
Yeah, I think
good job out of you.
Tubed meat dates back to Germany.
The Germans. Yeah, they're the ones that are on it. I feel this way about whiskey too. People ask me like, when you have a good whiskey, do you have to have it neat? No, have it however you prefer to have it. Even if I drink something really rare on a rare occasion, when I do a special occasion, something like that, I still enjoy it over a rock. Like I like it opening up a little bit. I don't necessarily like it neat, but guess what? It's a subjective taste. Your mouth may be different.
I had a guy tell me, like you can't put that whiskey on ice. If you're gonna put anything in it, you got to put water, but you can't do ice. And I'm like, isn't ice water? Isn't it going to turn into water here? And also, like, I don't care. This is how I like it. This is how I enjoy it.
Yeah, taste is subjective, absolutely. So the only thing I would say on I like the Big Rock. And there's usually a point where most of those whiskeys, especially if it's something that's been in a bottle for 10 years or 15 years or a dozen years or 20 or 23 or whatever, it needs to be opened up a little bit, man. A little bit of water helps. And usually in a Big Rock, you really start to get all of the flavor in it. It can water down if you let it sit for 30 minutes or an hour. I wouldn't probably recommend that. But certainly that's the way I prefer, and I feel that way about the hot dogs as well. This is, speaking of hot dogs, saw this yesterday. Coastal Carolina revealed on Monday the CCU kickoff meal deal. Anyone who buys a ticket to a Coastal Carolina football game will be able to enjoy food free every time they visit the concession stands. Yeah, that's right. Fans may make unlimited trips to the concession stands where they have to scan in each time through the Coastal Carolina Athletics app. Here's the small catch. Fans are able to acquire 4 items each time they visit the concession stand: hot dogs, nachos, popcorn, and fountain drinks. So my guess is the way they did this is they built it into the ticket pricing. So they upped the ticket prices to make it to where this works. And they're also betting on the fact of, quite honestly, how many hot dogs, nachos, popcorn, and fountain drinks can anyone consume? That's the bet. They're not going to lose money on this. But it is kind of smart. It kind of goes back to that idea of, I think I've talked about this before, like certain clubs will say like additional gratuity. Like there's a gratuity that's built into the bill, and then they'll say additional gratuity. And my pushback to that is, don't make me do math. Larry David did a bit on this on Curb Your Enthusiasm. Like, I don't care if it's 18% or 20%, 22, 25, I don't care. Whatever you deem appropriate to tip, just build it into the bill so I don't have to do additional math on top of it, or take out the built-in gratuity and I'll do the gratuity myself. Either way, I'm for it. I think this is what Coastal Carolina is doing. Buy the ticket. Don't think about anything from concession stands. My guess is they found a way to make this win.
And I saw this yesterday because they did a video just kind of explaining everything. It's like, well, their alcohol sales are going to double because you're going to get likely people going to the concessions, getting their 4 items, and then realizing, oh, I would like a beer. And the next time, I'd like another beer. And it's nothing if you're just paying for the beer itself. Where it really gets you at some places you go to is you're paying $10 for the beer, but you're also paying $8 for the pretzel. You're paying $5 for the popcorn. You're paying $3 for the hot dog or the sausage or whatever tubed meat you'd like in a bun.
Yeah.
And then that starts to add up. This, especially near Myrtle Beach, I think everybody wins.
Mertile. Have you guys ever been with somebody who had was like the owner of, whether it's a suite or a box, that had free food and drink with it. And then they viewed it like, I've got to get all my money out of the free food and drink.
I've never
names, please.
I've never done
but
that.
Like someone I know quite well, used to have one of those at the Brown Stadium. And when you would go to the game with him, it was like, if you don't get bombed and just gluttonous hogs sucking down all sorts of food that's in that thing, then we're not getting our money's worth. So you just came out gorged. And I'm like, I don't know that this is what this was intended to be. But it's like, well, we're going to drink and eat our money's worth here.
Doesn't seem like a fun time.
Yeah, it sucked.
Especially for him, because
I'm never going again.
If you're just focused on getting your money's worth out of it, you're missing the point.
Yeah.
So, Bo, I'm looking at Coastal Carolina's ticket prices for last year.
All right.
And most of their tickets were $120. And this is for season tickets, $120.
Far cry from here.
And some of them had an $80 Coastal Carolina Foundation donation attached to them. Some had a $50, some had a $35. And then there was some more expensive packages. Then I'm looking, and they don't have a breakdown here as I'm looking on to buy season tickets now, but it looks like almost all the tickets have gone up $30 in price. They're $150 now, plus a $5 fee per ticket, and some of them, again, have an $80 required donation. Others have a $50 required donation, and so forth. So the ticket prices have gone up $30, it looks, a ticket this year.
And that's probably a pretty accurate amount of free hot dog, pop, nachos, and popcorn one can consume.
But hey, we're giving it to you for free.
Right. They're not dumb. It's all going to work itself out. Speaking of not dumb, and speaking of things I did not have, on Friday of last week, Colorado coach Deion Sanders agreed to a 5-year, $54 million contract extension that runs through the 2029 season. He's going to make $10 million in 2025, making him the highest paid coach in the Big 12. And Bill Belichick tied with him for 8th highest paid coach in college football. I think that he has done a stunningly great job at Colorado. That was the worst Power 5 job in America. They became one of the most popular brands in year one. And in year two, they were on the cusp of the playoff, and they got a kid winning the Heisman. And they're going to have 2 first-round draft picks. That's about as good as it gets. I will also say I didn't think there was a chance he lasted more than 2 or 3 years there. Remember, we had the Colorado guest on, and we asked him. Remember this, Reese? Like, what's the over-under on the amount of time he's there? And he said 2 or 3 years, and everybody understands it. Not anymore.
Yeah, it felt like he was going to go with his son, or if his son was going to go to the next level. Yes. You obviously knew Shador was going to be a top 5 draft pick. He will be a top 5 draft pick come Green Bay, Wisconsin. But, yeah, the idea was if not the NFL, then the Power 5 school, a bigger Power 5 school was going to come calling. But the language in his new contract makes it financially difficult, I would say, for him to go anywhere. Like I was mentioning this with Tyvis, like if the Haslams were going to go over a coaching change and Deion was the guy, it wouldn't cost them anything to give a $10 million buyout to Colorado. But other coaches, maybe other colleges or other NFL teams, might shy extra away from that because that's kind of steep for Colorado.
I got to tell you something else. Makes sense. Colorado's over the moon with him, right? What's the pressure there? He doesn't have to go win a national title. He doesn't have to win the Big 12. Play in bowl games, win 9 or 10, win anywhere between 7 and 11 games, be relevant. They are. And have either of you been to Boulder?
I have
Let's just say it's a place that you'd like to live. Pretty great. Yeah, you get winter, but you're
pretty good in the scenery bracket.
Yeah, you're at the foot of the Rockies, man. Like, it's a pretty great place to be. So, yeah, I think it adds up pretty good. And it feels like maybe this is the last place he coaches in college football, and it's certainly worked for them. It works for us every time we get to talk to our good buddy Uncle Dom. He joins in 2 minutes, Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Hey, it's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place. Wait, Leslie, what is that dude doing over there at that window?
Well, that dude is Chase, and Chase is making that window look perfect. We're sticklers on detail, Wilson, both in our showroom and definitely in people's homes.
Chase, be careful. May have spilled some coffee over there just a bit ago.
Oh, he knows. He seems to work a lot more when you're around, Wilson. Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Look, there's feelings and then there's the facts. If you're feeling like your finance team is bogged down in mundane manual tasks, the fact is you need Ramp. Ramp is the corporate card that makes the expense process fast and easy. The moment your team makes a purchase, Ramp handles everything. Receipt collection and approvals, the works. With Ramp, you can cut your month-end close from 5 days to 1, customize approval workflows, and get complete control over every transaction. Facts. Over 25,000 businesses trust Ramp, including Shopify and the Boys and Girls Club of America, which is why they were just named #1 in spend management by G2. Facts. Start using Ramp and you'll have more time to spend scaling your business. And that'll feel really good. Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's RAMP.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
At Meijer, we work hard to bring more locally grown goodness to life with a farm-fresh selection of crisp vegetables and juicy, ready-to-eat fruit. Whether topping off kebabs on the grill or adding healthy color to a leafy green salad, your family will definitely enjoy the delicious taste of Meijer produce. Plus, you'll appreciate the selection and savings we have to offer. That's the fresh-picked good life, priced for real life. We work hard to make life a good deal better at Meijer.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Bishop and Friends present Tuesdays with Tiberi.
All right, and he joins on the Brian Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline, 10 TV's legendary sports anchor, Dom Tiberi. Did you get me a flat, Dom?
I'm trying to get one for me. My wife wants one. I don't know what the world she's going to do with it, but yeah, I can try to get you one too. And I'll tell you, this thing was amazing, Jersey Mike's. God bless them. I think we're going to hear that they did a record year. Tomorrow night, they will make the announcement on our news at 4:15. We'll do it live from Polaris.
So it's something that Jersey Mike's been doing for a long time. The partnership with you and the Maria Tiberi Foundation and Jersey Mike's obviously hits everywhere you want it to hit. But this is really the combination of two things coming together for about as much good as you can possibly do, my friend. And I know you just celebrated your 44th year at Channel 10 recently. Buddy, it's got to be humbling to you at times the way that this city just grabs you and embraces you and I've never seen anything like it, truly.
Well, I appreciate it, buddy. And, I'm the same guy. I grew up here. And, I tell people I'm the same guy that was collecting trash back in 1977 for the city of Columbus. And I'm just a guy that got lucky. I've never forgotten where I've come from. And, I love this city. Columbus is home. I was born and raised here. And, I've been lucky. It's been a labor of love. It's hard to believe that it's been 44 years. Today, I'm going to do something I've never done. The Clippers have asked me to throw out the first pitch today. And they asked me to do it one time before, and I brought little Dom to come and I handed it to him, and he chucked it up there for me. But we'll see. I don't know. Hopefully I don't throw my arm out, I mean But
have you done it before?
No, this first time. I used to throw batting practice to the kids, but that was a while ago. So, but I'm looking forward to it. It's going. It's going to be me and Tyvis Powell hanging out over at Huntington Park today, 4, 5, and 6.
Oh, that's a win. So I did it once. It was in Billings, Montana. Reds rookie AAA or Reds rookie ball affiliate, the then Billings Mustangs. I think they're still the Mustangs, but they're not a Reds affiliate anymore. They've kind of done away with that. And they asked me to do it, and I was still kind of I was 21, so still relatively in my athletic prime, or what I thought was my athletic prime. And you think like that you're pretty locked in, and then you get out there and you're like, oh, this isn't what I do for a living. And it was on opening night. So it was a full stands, probably a couple thousand people at that time. And I remember thinking, throw it hard, make sure it crosses. That's all that was in my head. Like, I didn't want to lob it in there. And I did throw it low and away, and it was definitely not a strike like the catcher. It ended up getting a little dirt on it. They gave me the ball, but it had a little scuff of dirt on it. I remember being so disappointed that I didn't pipe it down the middle the way that you want to. So what is your mindset going into today? Where's your head at? What are you trying to do?
Don't embarrass myself. I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't want to go out there. First of all, there'll be a big crowd because it's the first Dime a Dog night.
Oh,
and and we know people that, hey, come on, we're all going out to eat, and it's my treat. And the guy spends $5 and acts like he took you to the prime steakhouse, And by the way, nobody should put mustard only on a hot dog. My wife puts ketchup. Did you ever see the movie Dirty Harry? Clint Eastwood flat out said, nobody puts ketchup on a hot dog. Who does that?
Is that where that came from?
Yeah, Clint Eastwood did it. Let me tell you something. I didn't know that. I'll tell you.
I like ketchup on a hot dog. It's got mustard too, and I do the relish and the onion and all of that, but I like a little ketchup.
These millennials have lost their minds. Let me just say this. My kids, like, we get pizza and they dip it in ranch dressing. I'm going, what are you doing? Yeah, it's like, let me tell you another thing. That gets me irked up. I took Adam King, good hair, nice boy, our sports guy, took him to get an Italian sausage. Okay. The guy put sauerkraut on it.
Well, then that's not an Italian sausage. That's a German. That's a brat.
You don't put sauerkraut on an Italian sausage.
No, you don't. I'm a little bit more concerned, though, with your offspring putting ranch on pizza. Sir, you are from the boot.
Let me tell you something. These kids today, it's like these guys that put honey on pizza. Oh, it's the greatest. It's all this young kid stuff. It's great. They're trying to teach me to be hip. These kids I'm working with, and they taught me some lingo. I can't even say it. I said it to my wife, and she made me sleep in the closet the other because I said to her something. And the young lady I work with, Nicole Sheeran, I love her.
Oh yeah.
But she taught me to do the nay. I injured my hip. The whip it nay thing. I can't do. And then she was telling me, here, say this and say that. I can't say that stuff. My wife looked at me. What's up? I can't say what comes next. But, everyone can't do this stuff today.
What are you, a dancing chimp? You do the things on request?
Well, I'm trying to be young. I'm trying to be hipper. I got that new shampoo that helps my hair. It's all beautiful.
Oh, really? That's a game changer.
You put a little shampoo. Wife goes, what happened to your hair? It's the shampoo. I don't know.
I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, it's much darker. Well, don't I look great? I look a lot younger.
1 minute you were calling me Whitey. Now you're going, what is that?
Hey, what did you make of what have you made so far of the Buckeyes in spring? 13 guys, a lot of leadership, a lot of young talent, but a bunch of really talented kids who are going to have to really lead on the field and off.
Well, they're bringing back some good guys from a year ago. Mm-hmm. I'm a huge fan of Caleb Downs. I'm a huge fan of the Stiles brothers. I like this James Peoples, hearing him talk. Mm-hmm. But to me, it's going to be the same thing everyone's worried about. I'm worried about the defensive front. Let's hope they can reload in that department because that was, make no bones about it. The defense, was the number one defense in the country. And that was a huge reason Ohio State won the national title. They got to find a quarterback. And, that is, as well as I do, if you don't have a quarterback, you're in trouble. And I think that they've got three very talented young men, but they're young and they're green. They're going to make mistakes. And I think one of the reasons Ryan Day chose a guy like Matt Patricia to be his defensive coordinator is this guy's been around. He's got nearly 20 years experience in the NFL. He knows what he's doing. He was a head coach. And I think that he feels like he can hand him the keys to the defense because I think Ryan's really going to focus in on let's put it this way. I think he really wants to focus in on the offense. I think he really wants to have his hands with the quarterbacks. And, they've got to bring a guy along. everyone, I think it's amazing. Everyone has anointed Julian Sand the starter. He's probably the clubhouse leader. But I'm going to tell you something. I saw this Lincoln Keyholtz on the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer. This kid's put on 15 pounds of muscle.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, I was watching him throw. He reminds me, he looks like Tom Brady, a young Tom Brady. And don't sleep on this kid. He's been in the program. He understands Ryan Day. He understands now, does he have the talent of Lincoln Keyholtz, of Julian Sand? They talk about the release and everything. And Sand's put on a little bit of weight. I mean, I think when he came in here, he was lucky to weigh 175 maybe. Yeah. I don't know what he weighs now, but, and then this Tavian St. Clair, my goodness. Now, this kid's a true freshman, but you talk about someone that passes the look test. So, to me, that is what, a big scoop here, the quarterback position. But I think Lincoln's got a better chance than people think. But I think they're going to need, Ryan said it the other day, they're going to need all three of them. And we've seen that in the past. And, if we learned anything last year, you think about what they did in the portal and you saw what happened with injuries and everything. It is not easy in today's college football because you're looking at 16, 17 games if you want to compete for a national title.
Will you participate in April Fools today?
Yeah. What do you want me to do?
No.
What do you
I'm not giving you a request. I'm just. I don't like it.
Do you want me to tell? Do you want me to tell? I hate that stuff, and I'll tell you why.
I hate it because we're on air live, and somebody shows me something. I think it's real.
It's like I've been looking at stuff. My wife shows me this every day. Is April Fool? You look at the stuff that is out there on the social media world. My wife will go, "Did you see this?" And I'm going, "Honey, let me see this." And I'm going, I don't think this is real. Oh, it's right there. You see it. And it is not real. And it's not. Every day is April Fool's. Some of the stuff that's put out there and said and whatever. I'm just hoping I don't. The only April Fool I hope I'm not is an idiot at Huntington Park where they boo me off because I roll it up there.
You're going to throw. Be like W. Remember W in the World Series when he piped it?
He threw a heater.
Yeah, go W. That's my advice to you. Put yourself,
wind up and go it.
Just sling it, baby. Yeah, I think you're going to do great. So that's all.
Throw it in there.
That starts at 4:00. You and Tyvis down at Huntington. So good luck with that, and we'll talk to you again soon, my friend.
And you really do put ketchup on a hot dog.
Yeah, I do. I go ketchup, mustard, relish, onion.
Oh my God!
That's how I do it.
God bless you. I wouldn't do it, but it's America.
What?
It's America. Just don't put sauerkraut on Italian sausage.
That I would never do. You have my word on that, my friend. We'll talk soon.
I'm out of here, my dogs. I'm keep trying to be hip.
My dogs? I don't know what the hell that is. We'll do a little thing or not a thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're known for three things: games, conversation, and Common Man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
April 6th at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Rewards members get $5 off an acai bowl or an acai bowl with Nutella. Log into the app on April 6th to redeem your rewards. Terms and conditions apply.
Men over 40, struggling with low energy, not feeling like yourself. Low T Center's testosterone replacement therapy is the solution. Get started today. Visit one of their conveniently located clinics, meet a medical provider, and get back to feeling your best. This April only, the consultation is free. Treatment is tailor-made just for you, and it's covered by most major insurance. Get treated at one of the Low T centers or from home. Why wait? Book your appointment now at lowtcenter.com. That's lowtcenter.com.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like asterisk-free checking with no monthly maintenance fee, no matter what. It's your money, right? So keep more of it. Make the switch today at huntington.com/yourmoney.
Hey friends, Austin Ward here. Free for life. Just by saying that, you already know I'm referring to Awaken 180. They're the only company providing it. Fast, proven weight loss, and then keep it off thanks to free support for life. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Okay, everyone, what did you think of the chocolate bar?
It's too chewy.
Feels kind of chalky.
Too much nougat.
I need to go brush my teeth.
Business is booming for Steph's small marketing research firm.
After all these focus groups, there's only one conclusion. I need more researchers.
And she's way too busy researching
Does this have peanuts?
to waste time researching resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
Home values in Columbus are sky high, and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market has peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's time. Except for two things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? Truehold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. Truehold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
The Buckeyes are national champions. And you listen to it all right here on The Fan. And next year when they do it again, it'll be here on The Fan. And the year after that, well, you know the drill. Always and forever, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, as Care grew over the years, you had many opportunities to sell Care to one of the big conglomerates that are buying companies all over Central Ohio. So tell our customers why you decided to keep Care in the family.
After talking about Care's values for over 30 years, I couldn't bear the thought of Care becoming the kind of company I was warning our customers about. I know the two of you will continue to treat our customers as I would, with honesty and integrity.
We will, Dad. In 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for Ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution specialists.
They'll offer betting advice, but don't bet on it being good. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a Tuesday. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
All right, this just came down about 15 minutes ago from NFL Network's Tom Pelissaro. Vote on the tush-push ban has been tabled. Further discussion needed. Andrew Brandt chimes in. Owners table a proposal when there are not enough votes to pass it, but they don't really want it to fail. We'll see if they do something at the May meeting without the coaches present. Looks like the owners are going to get together May 20th through the 21st in Minneapolis at the Omni Viking Lakes Hotel.
Oh, baby.
That could be the time when the tush-push gets the ban hammer. Thing or not a thing?
Well, so I think not a thing because they weren't really close to getting it passed. They were 8 votes shy of getting a ban passed. I also think it's a little bit of a slippery slope. I heard one coach yesterday something to the effect of, you're like the type of guys who would ban the forward pass when Johnny Unitas was around. It is a football play. It is. What do you... They do it really well. They do it really well because they practice it and because they have a quarterback who has superhuman strength in his lower body and is willing to take on the hits of it. Other teams have tried and it hasn't worked, so maybe just stop it and hope for that. There also isn't enough data out there to suggest that it's a play that has a ton of injury to it. So right now, the idea of passing it to me seems a little silly.
Yeah, this is not a thing at all. And when you say they, Bo, you obviously mean the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
And they're the only ones that do it right. They're the only teams that don't get stopped doing it. The Buffalo Bills tried. It didn't work. Other teams have tried. It doesn't work. It's kind of like we were talking about with the torpedo bat, Bo. Mm-hmm. It's within the realm of the rules, right? They have the right guys lined up where they need to and all of that. I just don't understand. I don't understand the big the big stink, the big outcry about this. Like, if you don't like it, stop it. It just, I don't understand why people want it banned.
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest thing because they couldn't and still can't stop it when the Philadelphia Eagles do it. MLB insider Jeff Passan was on foul territory this week, and he said that if owners push for a salary cap, we could be headed towards a lockout.
It's going to be a real window, I think, into Major League Baseball and into its owners and into the league's priorities and visions for the future, just how hard they lean into the idea that a salary cap is a must-have this time around. If they do, that means that they are prepared to shut down the sport. Because, look, unless something miraculous happens, MLB is going to lock out the players in early December of 2026. Like, that's just, Rob Manfred telegraphed it already. It's part of their playbook. It's part of what they use. It's trying to get leverage. And I just wonder, and I look forward to asking owners this going forward. I feel like there's positive momentum in the game right now. I feel like baseball is in a pretty good place. The pitch clock worked. ABS challenge is probably coming next year, and I really liked it this spring. You have stars up and down the sport, led by the guy who is the most recognizable baseball player in at least a quarter century. And if we're taking Shohei Ohtani, what do we go back to? Ken Griffey Jr., like in his prime? Probably so. You have all these good things going for you. Is it worth it? That's the question that they need to ask themselves. And that's the question that fans need to ask as well. Is it worth it to take a great era of Major League Baseball that we are in the midst of right now and absolutely torpedo it in pursuit of financial gains?
Thing or not a thing?
Well, the line he uses over and over again. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Typically, when Major League Baseball players and owners ask the question, is it worth it? The answer to it is no, and they do it anyway. I mean, this is a sport that in '94 lost a World Series. This is a sport that's had strikes, lost for labor negotiations. They've had lockouts that have held players out. Like, they have had labor strife for a long, long time. I just am curious, I guess, I wonder how many ownership groups really want that. Because it seems to me, and I don't follow the sport as closely as I did a decade ago, but it seems to me that Major League Baseball has kind of gone the way of European soccer. That it's a very clear line of demarcation between the haves and the have-nots. And every once in a while, a have-not, Leicester City, can come on and win the Premier League. But by and large, it's Man City and it's Liverpool and it's in La Liga, it's Barcelona, Real Madrid. Like, it feels like baseball's reached a point now with the spending at the top that if you're not one of those, you can't swim in these waters. So I don't know if that's good or bad for the sport, but I do think he's right that the sport's in a pretty good spot right now.
So I think this is a major thing because, baseball may be better than it has recently. I don't know about a pretty good place, and then he says a great era of Major League Baseball. I don't think we're in either of those because you just had a nice ESPN TV deal go by the wayside for probably half of what you were going to be getting for that because you didn't think you were getting enough on the deal. Well, that didn't work out for you. And you also have two teams, one, unfortunately, due to a natural disaster, but you have two teams playing in minor league ballparks this year. So I don't know if we can say that baseball is in a pretty good spot or it's in a great era of Major League Baseball. There may be some momentum here for baseball, but a strike in 2026 kills baseball.
Let me expand you to this, Reese, because you watch more baseball than any of us. It feels like baseball has transitioned, to me, to a European model. European soccer, like haves, have-nots. That's the opposite of like what Bake's talking about right there. You Guardians fan. Bake, are you Guardians or Reds?
I'm Reds.
Okay. I'm sure what you guys would both want more than a salary cap is probably a salary floor.
Yes. That's necessary, I think.
Right? Like you want your teams to actually spend the money they make is probably what you'd like. So I think that's the thing that's tricky is kind of where's the sweet spot on all that, Reese?
Well, I wonder, when he says owners are pushing, how many owners are really pushing for this? Because if it's 5 or 6 owners, then you can, start to say, oh, there's a little bit of smoke there. But if it's the Athletics, if it's owners of the Cleveland Guardians, if it's the Royals or the Twins, or the Reds, what? Are we really going to get? Are they going to be the ones to be the movers over the Yankees or the Red Sox or the Rangers or the Astros or the Phillies or the Dodgers? No. So this is great that Jeff Passan is signaling this, because I'd imagine, again, he's speaking to a lot of different people who say, well, where our ownership group's kind of concerned and maybe looking towards a salary cap. But if it's the owners that actually have the leverage and the power and that actually make the decisions in the sport, this feels like not a thing for me.
I think the craziest thing in the sport is all contracts fully guaranteed. Like $700 million is going to Juan Soto. He's getting every cent, no matter what. That's the wildest thing to me. And by the way, anybody who says, how's he making that money? He's making it because the owners are making it. Like, if the Mets didn't have it, they wouldn't have paid him it. They do, and they did. And same thing with the Dodgers, with Shohei Ohtani and everything that they've done. They're spending it because they have it. All right, final hour of the program. Lots coming out of the NFL League meetings down in South Florida, in Palm Beach. We'll weigh in on what I think Jimmy Haslam did yesterday in regard to Deshaun Watson and turning the page. That's coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If your idea of the perfect radio show is all Buckeyes all the time, then it's your lucky day, Slappy, The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics? Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Don't let life get in the way of what's most important. Visit shelterinsurance.com to learn more. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Breaking news. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. T&Cs apply.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and, of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection, one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Everyone has that one goal, that thing they want to prove, not to other people, but to themselves. Then, right when you think you could actually do it, cancer. And that goal is still within reach. Oh no, I'm about to run my first ever marathon with my two best friends. 3 years after having cancer.
At least we look good in these shorts.
Woo! Let's get it, guys. You, keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans to learn more.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions, a very handsome reward indeed. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%. Plus, you also get 4% APY on your cash in non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% IRA boost on annual contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rates subject to change. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18th, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. April's a great time to spruce up around your house, like getting rid of those old, ugly, drafty, hard-to-open windows and starting fresh. Especially during Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 free sale going on now. There's no limit to how much you could save, and if you buy a house full of windows, they'll include a free entry door, too. Plus, with 0% financing, 0 down, and no monthly payments, you could get new windows and pay nothing until 2027. How do they do it? Well, Window Nation partners with the top window manufacturers in the nation to build windows to their high-quality specs. Then they pass the savings on to you. You'll protect your home with some of the best windows you can buy at a fraction of the price of those other brands. Just imagine what you could do with all that extra money. Hurry, the sale ends soon, so don't miss your chance to take advantage of the Buy 4, Get 4 free and pay nothing until 2027. Schedule your estimate right now at 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. One more time, that's Buy 4, Get 4 free from Window Nation, 866-90NATION or windownation.com.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reese, sir. It'll be a busy night in Old Columbus town. The Blue Jackets will host the Predators Tuesday at 7 p.m. Only 10 games remain for the CBJ, who entered the week 2 points out of the second wildcard spot in the East. Elvis Merzlikins looks to get the nod in net Tuesday. You can hear Jackets Predators on the Fan with pregame coverage at 6:30. Columbus is going to host Colorado on Thursday. Down the street at Huntington Park, the Columbus Clippers host the St. Paul Saints. It's Dime a Dog night for the home opener. First pitch set for 6:15. In the majors, the Reds look to build off their 14-3 win last night over the Rangers. Cincinnati hosts Texas tonight at 6:40. It's game 2 of a 3-game series. In San Diego Tuesday, the Padres host the Guardians at 9:40. San Diego beat Cleveland 7-2 on Monday. And in college football, Ohio State wrapped up spring practice number 9 this morning. Buckeyes will hold Student Appreciation Day this Saturday with the annual spring showcase next Saturday at Ohio Stadium. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Sports conversation that's worthy of a toast, or at least a stiff drink. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour here on a Tuesday edition of the program. Aaron Portzline coming up in 28 minutes on the Jackets back home tonight and a playoff push that really starts tonight with a game every other day from here on out through the rest of the season. NFL league meetings taking place down at the Breakers in Palm Beach. That is a pricey price tag on a night at that fine establishment. I never stayed there. We were there once. We were down in Palm Beach for a wedding once and went there for lunch. Gorgeous property, but is I think now it's like a $3,000 a night joint. Stay one night at that place. So that's where the NFL owners are chilling down there. And we'll go over some of the things that they're doing, including some rule changes, some that did pass, some that won't, including the tush push being still a legal play, at least tabled for now. A lot of headlines yesterday coming out of the league meetings down in South Florida. They were generated by Browns owners Jimmy and Dee Haslam. This from clevelandbrowns.com. My hunch is the way that this typically works is like, if you are a media group that goes to cover the league meetings, you do get a little bit of one-on-one time. So this was pretty damn valuable, where you get the owners of the Cleveland Browns kind of on the record talking about the state of the franchise with which they own. And Jimmy Haslam had this to say, and this garnered a ton of attention. We took a big swing and miss with Deshaun. We thought we had the quarterback. We didn't. We gave up a lot of draft picks to get him, so we've got to dig ourselves out of that hole. The Deshaun Watson was an entire organization decision, and it ends with D&I, so I hold us accountable. I think the one thing that I would say about that, and he continues to further go on, that a big part of the reason that Deshaun Watson missed is because he got hurt multiple times, and that was a big part of why he missed. I've laid this out many times. This is just fact. Like, this isn't scores, this isn't lean, this isn't trying to spin anything. This is how it happened. Football operations with the Cleveland Browns took the idea of acquiring Deshaun Watson to ownership. Okay? They took it. They said, this guy can be a difference maker for us. And based on what he did in 2020 and his first 4 years in Houston, everybody out there would have thought the same. And upwards of 13 teams were in on him. 4 were in at the very end. Once they said that, ownership with the Browns said, okay, you want him, we'll do what it takes to get him. And they did. They guaranteed the full contract, and that's what it took in order to make sure that Deshaun Watson signed on the line and signed off on that deal to be traded to the Cleveland Browns. Now, you can be critical of a lot of things with it, but that's the way it happened. Okay? So what I think happened yesterday down in Palm Beach was the Haslam saying, we own the team. Inevitably, it's on us. We could have said no. We didn't. We said, yep, and we'll make sure that what you want gets done. Now, as Browns fans, you can view that however you want, that maybe they should have stopped it. In hindsight, you could have said, absolutely. You would have said, yeah, no, don't do that. But in the moment, and I know, and Reese, you and I were doing the show at that time. You had issues with it from the standpoint of what was going on off the field with Deshaun Watson. A lot of people did. Very fair to have that. But from a football-only perspective, you can separate that. The acquisition of him at that age was a no-brainer. And what they gave up and what they gave him was also a no-brainer. And everybody else in the league that was in on him would have done the same. Certainly the 4 teams. Saints would have done the same. Falcons would have done the same. Carolina would have done the same. And the Browns actually did it. But I think what this was more about yesterday was a turning the page of the Deshaun Watson era. And it was the Haslam saying, hey, this may have been a football decision, but we could have said no and we didn't. So if you want, it's a kind of an old school leadership. We own the team. We sign the checks. It's on us. Hold us accountable. I think that's what happened yesterday.
Yeah, Haslam was on the name of the check. So this was refreshing, I'll be honest, as a Browns fan, to hear yesterday. And it also, I do think, puts the final nail in this coffin because this was awful. And they acknowledged it. It's been acknowledged. And as Browns fans, you'll only hear about it till forever. But the idea now that everybody, I think, can be on board with moving past that, because it's so important to land the quarterback, whether it be in free agency or whether it be in the draft, that now that's the focus. And I think when you have the tippy top of the organization saying, bad job, swing and a miss, we're going to figure this out. You may not have faith in the Haslams, you may not have faith in the front office, but at least you can hear it from them explicitly that now we're looking towards the future of the organization. That will not include Deshaun, which I think everybody can agree is in everybody's best interest.
Bo, sometimes in life, you can go a lot with I'm sorry, right? A true I'm sorry, no ands, ifs, buts, no explanation. If you just say, hey, I'm sorry. And while he didn't say I'm sorry, he did say, we messed up. We got it wrong. Mm-hmm. And he didn't say, there were a lot of people that would have done this. Yeah. There were, he did not say any of that. He just said, hey, we got it wrong, and they're going to be patient and trying to fix it.
Yeah, and there is the other thing that we're learning, there is no quick fix to this. You give up that much and you don't have that inventory of first-round picks, it is hard to put together a competitive roster on the fly. So they're trying to pivot and go from a team that going into the last couple of seasons with the idea of a healthy Watson and him reverting back to what he was, and they've done about everything they could to do that, kind of look like a Super Bowl contender, right? I mean, they were one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. That's not me talking. That's Vegas. So that's the way that they were viewed, and now they're in a transitional phase. I think it is fair to say that the only way out of this is to land the quarterback at number 2 or go up to 1 to get the guy that you want. That's the only way for sure. There's risk to that, absolutely. And Haslam talked about that risk. This was his quote again yesterday, I believe, to Mary Kay Cabot at Cleveland.com. I think the message is if the right person is there, we're going to take him. If not, we'll figure it out for a year or two until we get the right person. So it'd be great if we get the quarterback, but we're not going to force it. We're going to be patient. We're going to try to accumulate as many really good football players as we can. So I would say to that, no one is telling the truth right now. We're a month. This is the draft month. There isn't anything out there that's truthful. We're not going to try to force it. Why would anybody do that? No one's going to force it. They need hits. They need a bunch of hits all over the roster to make this work. I think that they have an advantage over every other team in the NFL, and that the top 2 quarterbacks in this draft they know better than anybody. So if there's one they like more than the other, I'll put it to you two. As Browns fans, if they loved, let's say, Cam Ward, would you support them giving up the number 2 overall, 67 overall, and a 4th to go get Cam Ward at 1?
Yes.
That's so hard. If they truly believe it, yeah, I think I would. I don't believe it, though. But if they believe it, if they think that's the right move, go do it.
That's the thing. You just got to separate, kind of how you feel about these quarterbacks than how they feel about these quarterbacks, because...
And also, Reese, with that, I didn't think Jaden Daniels was going to be a dude last year, right? But he was really, really good. He was way better than I ever thought. So I guess I have to trust them to know. I just feel like this front office, this regime of the Browns has not given me any faith that they'll know.
Fair, right? Andrew Berry's made 1 first-round pick. It was Jed Wills. He's currently a free agent. So no one signed him. And obviously he didn't get a second contract for the Browns. So they need to hit on it. Absolutely. My hunch is, if you said to Browns fans, would you want to trade up to 1 and get Cam Ward, or Travis Hunter at 2, trade back into the first round, or just stay at the top of the second and end up with Jackson Dart or something like that? I'm guessing most Browns fans would do that. And I think the reason most of them would do that is because it's safer.
I think
it's embarrassing when you miss on a quarterback. It's less embarrassing. I just mentioned Jed Wills. How many people would have that? Missing on Jed Wills is not going on the back of a jersey. You miss on the quarterback, it goes on the back of a jersey. There's an embarrassment to it.
I also it's tough for me to separate what I've seen from Cam Ward and think Kevin Stefanski's going to be okay with that, especially in a year that there's going to be. It's does Cam Ward come in right away and wow, I'm sure, and impress, I'm sure. But there are actual football games that mattered last year for Miami, where he made plays that I'm like, that's not what Kevin Stefanski's going to want a quarterback to do. And how do you go, well, if you're the number 1 pick in the draft, he's going to come in right away and be like, oh, no, I'll do whatever you say, coach. I don't know.
I actually think Shador's the better,
I would say to the point, yes.
He's more of what they want. Now, I have no idea, personality fit or whatever, but and I don't know if he's worthy. Who knows, to your point, Bake, who knows anything? Yeah. I have no idea.
They say Shador's too arrogant to be a top pick. And I'm like, well, what do you mean?
What does that mean?
You want a wallflower?
Caleb Williams last year wasn't exactly a wallflower, to your point. You kind of need it to be that way. So
it sure seems like Shador, the ceiling may not be as high, but the floor is a lot safer.
Seems like it. I don't know. I think he's been someone who's suffered a lot because of who he is over the last month without really doing anything on the field to warrant it. It's possible that the Browns may just go with Kenny Pickett. Kevin Stefanski weighed in on that. We will have that for you. Plus Mike Tomlin on the Aaron Rodgers situation, and Zach Taylor on still holding out hope for Trey Hendrickson. We will get to all of that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, Ohio State fans. While others cut corners, like that team up north, Valvoline Instant Oil Change is Buckeye-level quality. We train hard and treat every day like game day. We're always quick, but never rushed. And you can stay in your car while our experts do the work. Valvoline Instant Oil Change is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Visit valvoline.com/Buckeyes to find your nearest location and access exclusive fan savings.
Columbus knows what it takes to be a champion. Just like your favorite team, Caster Connection plays to win. Our heavy-duty casters and wheels offer unmatched durability and ergonomic performance from manufacturing and material handling and beyond. With an unrivaled online inventory and the best consultative experts in the industry, we'll help you find the right caster for any job. Shop now at casterconnection.com and save 10% on online orders with promo code ROLL10.
Not a retail location. We're catching up with that famous deep-sea explorer, Jacques Black Jacques. Jacques, where are you today? You're in Columbus. What could you possibly be exploring in Columbus?
The April showers bring flooding to Batmans.
Oh, I see. Spring rains mean basements are flooding.
This not necessary. Apex Pros.
Not necessary. Call Apex Pros.
A simple zoom pump chick.
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble understanding this. Zoom pump check. Sump pump check. Are you saying sump pump check? Yes, of course. A sump pump check from the pros who knows at Apex Pros.
They come to your house.
They come to your house.
They test your zoom pump.
They test your, what is it again?
Zoom pump.
Some pump, right.
All with a 5-star guarantee.
All with a 5-star guarantee. Now, see, I understood that perfectly.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Sometimes you don't realize something was bothering you
until it's gone.
That's how you're going to feel
after we work our magic at your house.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Hey, Kroger shoppers, get ready for Customer Appreciation Week happening March 26th through April 1st. We've packed 7 days with amazing deals. And if you're a Boost member, you can save even more. Get excited and get ready to save. Thanks for being such an awesome customer. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Customers can save big on Kroger brand pasta and Kroger brand broth. Select varieties are only 99 cents each with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Common Man and T-Bone are known for many things. And while great radio ain't one of them, shoving food down their gullets is their specialty. Join Man and Bone for Fat Boy Food Tip.
Live at 3 or on the podcast.
Your home for fat. The Fan.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
Are you in need of basic dental treatment but can't afford the cost? There may be a solution. Hi, I'm Dr. Hal Jeter, president of the Ohio Dental Association, and I'm excited to tell you about a program called Dental Options. Dental Options is a partnership between the Ohio Dental Association and the Ohio Department of Health in which qualifying patients can be paired with a dentist to receive discounted or even free dental care. Eligibility for the program is based on your financial situation. For more information or to apply, call 1-888-765-6789.
Does heel pain make you hobble just getting out of bed in the morning? If heel pain is affecting your ability to exercise and meet your walking or running goals, relief is as close as your local podiatrist. Podiatric physicians are highly trained doctors who specialize in medical and surgical treatment of the foot and ankle. Ohio Foot and Ankle podiatric physicians are available across the state and are devoted to providing the highest quality foot and ankle care. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A pretty pleasant day for us with temperatures in the mid to low 50s and mostly sunny skies. But Wednesday will start off with mostly sunny to partly sunny skies. Have a chance of showers and storms late morning, early afternoon. It will be warm and windy with our highs getting into the mid to upper 70s, but stay weather aware late Wednesday. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
1, 2, 3. Here in the Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan. Drink recommendations, movie reviews, sports discussion, and whatever the hell Reeser does. This is Bishop and Friends.
Indeed it is, and we are brought to you and proud to be sponsored by our great friends at Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for over 78 years. We were having the Browns quarterback conversation earlier. Jimmy Haslam, Browns owner, making the comments yesterday that the buck stops with them. I did get this on social from Tyler. Okay, so how does this play going forward? Do they cut Deshaun? Is he still on the team? You can't keep him after saying he was a miss. They can't really do anything. They don't have to worry about it now. He's not going to play next year. He's out all of next year. He's at the facility. He's around. They're compensating him. They redid the contract to make it less of a cap hindrance. But he's not going anywhere anytime soon. That's just the way that contract was set up. So he'll be around, but he's not going to be on the team in the sense of next year, someone who's going to be around the room or anything. I wouldn't imagine, just because of the injuries. I mean, he retore his Achilles. Like, it's just not in play. So we'll see what happens from that point going forward. They did sign Kenny Pickett. As of right now, he's the only quarterback on the roster. Kevin Stefanski available down in South Florida as well yesterday and weighed in on the acquisition of Kenny Pickett. Here's what Stefanski had to say.
Very excited about Kenny. We've had him up into our building and just the brief time talking to him, understanding what he knows about this game and how he's been coached. I caught up with some of his former coaches in Philly and filled me in on the type of person, type of player. So excited for Kenny and the opportunity, see what he's capable of, and he's got the right makeup for it.
Was also asked specifically what impressed him about Pickett. Here's Stefanski on that.
I think he's a very intelligent, accurate passer, but he's somebody that you've seen it from him. He's made plays in games. He's won football games with great decision making. He's a plus athlete. I've seen him make all the throws, so I really think he fits in whatever you're planning on doing. But talented overall player.
There's a ceiling on all of this. I acknowledge it. Can you wrap your head around the possibility of Pickett being Darnold? Is that a bridge too far?
I can't go that far, but I also know that Kenny Pickett has a 15-10 record as a starter in this league for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I don't think this rendition of the Cleveland Browns is as good as those Pittsburgh Steelers teams on a whole as they were, but I don't.
Offensively, Bake, I think it's a better fit than what Matt Canada was. Like, I think Stefanski's offense, it's a reason that it works so well and that Purdy plays it so well in San Francisco. It is a turn your back to the defense, flip your head, throw it here offense. Like, that's what it needs. It needs you to be a very quick processor, and it just wants you to throw to the open guy. That's what they want. Darnold rehabilitated his career playing in it, right? First in San Francisco, and then inevitably last year in Minnesota, where they had a star-studded cast. They will not have that in Cleveland. Bake kind of did it too with the Rams, with McVay, and then ended up in Tampa, where he's played at a very high level. There are examples of this. I'm not ready to go there with Pickett, just because it's kind of like how it was with Darnold. Like, do you remember when J.J. McCarthy went down? We're like, okay, so they're going to really roll Sam Darnold? And then Darnold did what he did, but you had to see it before you believed it. And Darnold came back to earth at the end, but not so much that it precluded the Seattle Seahawks from giving him $100 million.
Yeah, the conversation was almost identical.
Yeah.
Like, Sam Darnold didn't get him win a damn game with the Minnesota Vikings. Like, this is going to be a spot where you put the Vikes in the top 5 of the draft. And then, to your point, he went out and did what he did. For me, I just don't think it makes them. They can, at best, tread water, try at 500, because they've still got, games against teams in the AFC North. And even the Pittsburgh Steelers, right now, I have more faith in, as a Browns fan, than the Cleveland organization. Because you saw what the Cincinnati Bengals did, and the Baltimore Ravens are bringing everybody back. So that's who you're up against. And I don't think there's a quarterback right now available unless you absolutely crush it, Jaden Daniels style, with the quarterback you draft that can get them in legitimate competition with the Ravens and the Bengals.
Yeah, I think you remember a couple weeks ago we were having that conversation about the middle class in the NFL. I think that the Browns are an example of that. That it's better to be in the middle class than be at the bottom, because at the bottom, it's a big pound of flesh, man, to be at the bottom. and it hurts. It sucks going to games in December when you're not really rooting for your team to win. There's a cost that comes with that, and I think a lot in the league are unwilling to pay that price.
To me, though, with this Browns team and roster the way it is right now, I feel like middle class is the ceiling.
Yeah.
If everything goes right, they're middle class.
Yeah, they're 9-8. Yeah, I mean, that's what happens. I think that's what Haslam's referring to in we got to rebuild this thing. We took a big swing. It didn't work. We got to redo it on the fly. So I think that's where they're at. I think that's the right read, Bake. That they want to be what the Steelers have been the last few years, which is in the mix, around 500, but not Super Bowl contenders. The Steelers haven't been a Super Bowl contender since Roethlisberger. It's a long time.
And I guess what I'm saying is that doesn't really constitute them as middle class to me. Because that's everything going right. That's your dream season right here, right now.
The Steelers max out what the middle class is.
And I just don't, I guess I don't see, I guess I see Cleveland as a step behind them. Maybe two.
Could be. The Steelers right now, speaking of the Steelers, they currently have Mason Rudolph, and they have Skylar Thompson, and that's it. Aaron Rodgers requested a meeting with them. Mike Tomlin talked about his meeting with Aaron Rodgers. Let's have a listen.
He's a free agent. As you guys know, he came to visit last Friday. We had a really productive day. He's been in this thing a long time. I've been in this thing a long time. But it's no substitute for, intimacy and spending time together and getting to know one another in a non-competitive environment. And so that was really good. But I don't have any new updates in terms of where the process is. We'll see where it leads us.
It just seems like it's pretty simple. If Rodgers wants to play, he'll play in Pittsburgh. And it seems like Pittsburgh's done everything to put them in position to be a very soft landing spot for him. We know Rodgers threw with DK Metcalf in Los Angeles last week. He did so at UCLA. There's a lot of places you could throw a ball in Los Angeles and nobody would have saw you. If you go to UCLA, you're going to get seen. It's kind of well known. Tomlin was asked if the quarterback uncertainty is unsettling. Here was his answer to that.
I'm really comfortable with being unsettled this time of year, to be quite honest with you. It's about talent acquisition. We got two main means of acquiring talent, free agency and the draft. We multitask. We do both. Those needs that we fulfill in free agency, we do so there, and when we don't, we fulfill it in the draft. And so I just learned over the years that this time of year, although day to day it can be somewhat uncomfortable, it is a process.
Feels like he's going to be a Steeler to me.
Yep. I loved how they asked him if they had any updates, and he just summarized what they did. Like, thanks, Mike.
Yeah. Right. I mean, you don't acquire Metcalf. Like, to me, it just seems like
that's the biggest thing. You're not acquiring DK Metcalf so you can draft a quarterback, or you can get a free agent retread that'll just have you at 9-8. You're getting DK Metcalf so you can acquire a quarterback that you think in your heart of hearts is going to lead you to the Super Bowl.
I think we were right on this all along. I think McAfee show next week in Pittsburgh.
Is it in Pittsburgh?
Big reveal.
They've got some event they're doing at PPG Paints Arena.
He's a Pittsburgh guy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well.
I mean,
that's the intro.
Ratings bonanza.
As long as you get it the okay with Mike Tomlin.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that it just seems to me like that's what it is. Now, that's a Band-Aid on a hemorrhage at the position for them, but it's a Band-Aid you can sell to fans, and you combine him with that roster, those two receivers, that defense, you give yourself a fighting chance with their culture against Baltimore and Cincinnati. And that's kind of the reality of it, and that's probably what they're after. Zach Taylor in Cincinnati, incredible offseason. They kept T. They kept Jamar. Can they keep Trey Hendrickson? Here is Zach Taylor on that.
Very consistent, not just 2 years, 4 years for us. And I think he's one of the premier pass rushers in this league. Teams have to devote a lot of attention to him, as they start their game plan each week. He's been a guy who works his tail off day in and day out, 365 days a year, which I can respect and appreciate. And so again, we'll just continue to work through the process with Trey.
He went on to say Trey's been a big part of our team, and so again, we want to work through it with him and his agent. We'll just see where it goes. I'm to the point now with the Bengals where I almost just kind of believe what they say. It seems like maybe they are going to keep all three somehow, some way. I don't know. They're going to have to hit on a lot of picks if they keep Hendrickson as well. I think for Hendrickson, guys, it's just going to come down to does he want to try to be in the Myles Garrett area, or is he comfortable, in that area just below that? That $37 million a year. If he tries to get in, if he wants to be 41 and be up there with Jamar Chase, I don't see how they could do that. But if he's comfortable a little like Max Crosby area, maybe.
You get a 1-year extension. Someone made the point like Danielle Hunter signed a 1-year deal with the Texans is about $37 million. Like that feels because both Hendrickson and Hunter on the other side of 30, or at least will be on the other side of 30 come the 2025 NFL season. That feels that would placate him for now.
Yeah, it does feel like kind of where it's at. So we'll see where it shakes out there. But a lot of news coming out of those meetings down in Palm Beach. The Jackets. The playoffs are here, kids. It starts tonight at home. Porty with perspective up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Look, there's feelings, and then there's the facts. If you're feeling like your finance team is bogged down in mundane manual tasks, the fact is you need Ramp. Ramp is the corporate card that makes the expense process fast and easy. The moment your team makes a purchase, Ramp handles everything. Receipt collection and approvals, the works. With Ramp, you can cut your month-end close from 5 days to 1, customize approval workflows, and get complete control over every transaction. Facts. Over 25,000 businesses trust Ramp, including Shopify and the Boys and Girls Club of America, which is why they were just named #1 in spend management by G2. Facts. Start using Ramp and you'll have more time to spend scaling your business. And that'll feel really good. Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Your home is more than just 4 walls and a roof. It's where life happens, where memories are made, where family gathers, and where you should feel safe. At Newman Roofing, we know that when it's time for a new roof, you want to feel confident that you've hired the right company. One that will install a quality roof and complete the work as promised. But with so many roofing companies out there, how do you know which one to trust? For over 30 years, Newman Roofing has helped more than 7,500 families protect their homes with quality roofing, gutters, and siding. We believe you deserve a company that provides a white glove customer experience, one that pays attention to every detail and treats your home like it's our own. At Newman Roofing, we're not just another roofing company. We're a family-built business that stands behind our work. So when it's time to replace your roof, don't settle for uncertainty. Choose the local family with a reputation for excellence. Choose the company you can trust. Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit us online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. The friends are the guests and listeners. Reeser and Baker just work here.
Back to work. Back to work. Everybody, work, 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 work.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Well, you had a choice. You can either wait a couple of weeks and hope the Blue Jackets are in the playoffs, or you can just kind of call it what it sort of is. The playoffs are on now at Nationwide. Nashville in town tonight. For some perspective on the Jackets, we head out on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Conversation with a great friend of the program, Aaron Portzline of The Athletic. 3 wins since the outdoor game. You've been there for all of it. What do you make of, and yet still in the mix, still right in the thick of it. What do you make of what this month brought for the Jackets?
Well, they are lucky, Bo, that this playoff race is, I've been saying it's more like a potato sack race than a sprint. Usually there's like a cluster of teams that just go, straight line up at this time of year, and it just hasn't been that way. They are extremely fortunate, frankly, to still be sniffing this thing. The last 550-plus minutes, I believe it's 550-29, so we're talking 9 games, 9 games plus. They've had the lead for 23 seconds.
Whoa.
23 seconds. They've given up the first goal in 9. That's what has to change tonight, right? They have to score. It's not over if they don't score first, obviously. They need to play with a lead, and they need to play like they did earlier in the season, even a month ago, where they dictated. They dictated with their speed, their skill, all of that stuff, and it just hasn't been. It feels like they've been counterpunching and trying to counterpunch rather than throwing the first one, and I feel like that's what's got to change.
How much of This is the first time we've done one of these, right? We've never played an outdoor game, but we're not Philly or Chicago. You play in one of them, it seems like every other year, Pittsburgh. The first time that you've done it, as you watched a team that did it, and you and I talked back before the season started, and we said, hey, make that outdoor game matter. Well, it did, and it was awesome. Yeah. It was an all-time 100%. Moment for the city. But as you've watched the month that followed, what did you learn about a team that plays in that and how you managed – how much, if at any, blame for what's happened the last month in terms of the record and the lack of results is on kind of how big that game can be?
Yeah, I think there were some aftershocks to that, like the first couple of games. They got jumped a couple nights later in Tampa, if you remember. They got their doors blown off pretty good there. I thought they played a hell of a game in Florida and lost. They were pretty good in that game. Florida can do that to you. But to me, that's where that ended. What's happened is they get past the trade deadline, and they have not played in these games before, as you just said. Very few of them have, anyways. Jenner has, of course, Werenski, these guys. But there was a moment there for a couple of weeks where 5 of their top 6 forwards had never been in a playoff game or a playoff chase. So you're talking your top 2 lines. Those are the lines that tend to do the damage. And this is all new to them. And I think they were taken aback by how ramped up the league gets once the trade deadline passes. It really does. It downshifts, and even the best teams are jockeying for position. It's not just play hard, play well. It is strap it to your thigh and go 500 miles an hour here. Empty the tank every night. And I think that's been an adjustment period to them. I think there are times, too, when the world starts to look at you where, okay, this is different now. We could surprise people. We could catch people off guard. We were a charming, cute little story. Now that's no longer the case to a lot of teams. Teams are prepared for them now. And so everything feels heavier. The ice has shrunk. There's less room to play with on the ice. And it's a huge adjustment. You have to go through it. This is them going through it.
Porty, you and I sitting here talking about it. We're not out there on the ice, but sitting here talking about it, like, to me, whether they make the playoffs or not, this is invaluable because everything you just described, this experience is 100%. Priceless, right?
Yes, 100%. And there are people, 2020, people get to, if you're a fan of the team, this is what we do. People are looking back and saying, boy, they should have added things at the trade deadline. I completely disagree. Completely disagree. Maybe on the back end, you could have argued for another player. But up front, you want Fantilli to feel this. You want Marchenko to feel this. All of these guys. There's no way to get through this. And this is what that, frankly, pissed me off so much last year as I watched this team and what I thought I knew they believed they were going through. And then to get to Edmonton when they're already out of it, and you pull Fantilli out of center and put him on the wing so that he doesn't have to face McDavid. And I'm just going, no, that's what this needs to be. Show him McDavid. And you still see it on the ice with them, of course, but the kid's handled himself so well. And that's what this is, too. I mean, he played number 1 center for probably a month and a half while Monahan was out, fared pretty darn well. And all of this experience is stuff that goes into the bank and helps these guys get better immediately.
Yeah, absolutely it does. Talking to the great Aaron Portzline at The Athletic on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. I went over this yesterday. I know the diehard fans are aware of it, but for the folks who've been jumping on this bandwagon since the outdoor game and all of that, they are playing every other day from here on out.
Yeah.
They play Saturday, Sunday back to back, but the longest they have between games is a day the rest of the way. If they are to navigate this, and this is a lot of heavy sledding, you could have an Ovechkin record game in there, decent chance coming up, so that's in play too. If they're to navigate it, who on this roster, Porty, are you looking at saying your best is going to be required?
Yeah, well, listen, it's Werenski. I think you can say fairly has at times looked tired since the 4 seasons, since the outdoor game. He's been pretty good the last couple of games. They've got to get better in goal. I think they need a goalie to steal some games for them, not just make a couple of big saves and big moments, but to steal a game or two. You wonder if that means let Tarasov run. You wonder if that means bring up Jet Greaves and let him run. Elvis has been so much better this year than he was last, and so much better last year than he was the year before. There's been progress there. But at this time of year, you know, a goalie can't just not beat you. You need him to steal some games, especially when all over the ice things are a little bit unsettled at times, too, with all of the young players. So I think those are some of the things you look for. The other part of the schedule that is a bit daunting is the next 2 weekends they've got back-to-back games, and they're now 1-9 in that second game. So that's obviously something that's got to turn around here. Maybe just win one of those games to change the direction. But 10 games to go, they're in it. And Bo, isn't it funny how we've totally changed the bar now? Like when you and I talk, it's like, make that March 1st game mean something. Yeah. And now it's like, well, you got to get into the playoffs. Now you're right here. That's what the measure of the season is. It's funny how we've changed the standard as things move along.
Well, we get greedy, right? 100%. You get greedy. You know, I mean, that's what fans do. That's what we do. We're like, okay, well, you did that. Like, let's raise and I think, you know, they're viewing it too. And you think about the way they handle the trade deadline, Porty. I'm with you in terms of the way they handled it. Of like, no, don't go getting rid of anybody. Like, this is your core. This is what folks who've been around it a long time want to happen. They wanted this built once, right, correctly. Yeah. And I think we can all say that they're doing that. I don't think if they don't make the playoffs, it's not a failure to me. I think that they have delivered in every way possible, and I think a lot of that. I think Evason's been unbelievable. Where are you on that in terms of that? I know fans want that playoff and they want that bar changed, but and I get the thirst for that because it's the most magical thing that's happened for the franchise is the win against Tampa. But at the same time, like that's why I keep pushing to everybody listening, buddy. I'm like, the next 2 weeks are the playoffs, and if you get more, that's a cherry on top.
Right. Oh, for sure. Like, to me, if the season ends today and they're not in the playoffs, it has still been an incredible season because what you're looking for a team that's at this point of the quote-unquote rebuild, retool, whatever you want to call it, is you have seen so many of their young players pop. Not just pop in terms of they look like they can be NHL players, but they look like they can be NHL difference makers. Kirill Marchenko is probably going to get 30 goals. No one's done that since Cam Atkinson had 41 in 2019. Adam Fantilli looks like a number one center. Do you know how long this franchise has looked for a number one center? And it seems like he wants to be here. The kid loves it here. These are all really good signs. Yes, I think this has been an incredible year towards growth. If I'm Don Waddell, I go into next season wanting to firm up or reshape that back end, which is a little unsettled. I'm looking at goal, but I am surrounding my forwards. I'm not retooling the forwards. They've got skill on skill on skill, and it's young. I don't know that the future, frankly, has ever been as bright as it is right now.
Couldn't agree with you more. Yep, I think it's the best spot the organization's ever been in. I think the next couple of weeks are going to be fun. When they come this fast, this furious, it's probably not great for you from a travel standpoint, my friend, but in terms of what's on the ice, every game has that to it. So going to be fun, and we'll check in again with you very, very soon. Thank you so much for your time, my great friend.
Thank you, Bo. Always a pleasure.
All right, there he is, the great Aaron Portzline at The Athletic, joining us on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Bake, you satisfied if they just miss it?
I mean, yeah, you're playing with house money at this point. You would obviously like to see them rewarded, especially with the story of this team and everything that happened before the season started. And, Johnny, you want to see them get rewarded for this, and you'd like to see these young players get that taste of the playoffs. But this season's already a success.
It's interesting, both the wing, now memory serves, Reese, you may remember this more than I did. You were doing the shows that day for the outdoor game. Weren't those two the 1 and 2 wild cards, or were they in and just out at the time of that game?
I think they were. I think it was both of them. I think the Jackets
were the one
either
and the
jumped them for the one that day, or were the one and the Wings the two. I think that was the Jackets won because they had beaten the Red Wings that Thursday night in Joe Louis.
It's funny because you look at it right now, and the Jackets have 75, the Red Wings have 74. Neither has played well since the outdoor game, and they're both still kind of in it for the last wild card spot, just because everybody else has kind of not done anything either. Ottawa's pulled away, but everybody else has come back to earth. We hit 3 things on a Tuesday. Up next, Bishop and Friends are here on The Fan.
April 6th at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Rewards members get $5 off an acai bowl or an acai bowl with Nutella. Log into the app on April 6th to redeem your rewards. Terms and conditions apply.
This Ohio State football spring practice report is brought to you locally on The Fan by Roosters and by your Ohio Kubota dealers.
Ohio State football spring practice report.
Another of the new elements of Ohio State this spring is defensive coordinator Matt Patricia. And head coach Ryan Day talks about how he's assimilated to everything.
A lot of energy, building relationships right now, just getting started. But I think the feedback from our players has been good. I think they really enjoy the conversation, the extra time that they get a chance to spend some one-on-one time with Matt. His experience and credibility speaks for itself. I think they know that, but now they're getting a chance to meet him, and I think it's been great. I think we've gotten great feedback from the recruits as well, who have had a chance to meet with him. And we're just starting to dive into some of the different things that we can do on defense, and there was a couple good things today. So we'll see. Again, just a couple weeks in, but again, I look at the staff chemistry and then chemistry with the players, and so far that's been really solid.
This report brought to you by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center and by Weber Grills on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Imagine a tailgate. The heat of the flame, the sizzle of the burger, the squeeze of the ketchup. Grilling is essential to tailgating as the game itself. Weber Grills are there in the hours, minutes, and even seconds before kickoff. Before the best damn band in the land plays the battle cry, signaling it's time to take the field. Weber is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. This season, Weber created an officially licensed limited edition Ohio State grill inspired by the iconic Buckeye helmets. Find the best damn grill in the land at local Ohio retailers.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Cover more ground with the fast, durable Kubota Sidekick, featuring a gas-powered engine that delivers a top speed of 40 miles per hour, best-in-class acceleration and handling with cargo, and the strength to haul what needs hauling. All backed by a 2-year, 1,000-hour warranty. Get more done right with the Kubota Sidekick. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Visit BuckeyeKubotaDealers.com to find a dealer near you.
1-800-GOT-JUNK makes space for possibilities.
When our clean, shiny truck arrives, it's the sign of a new beginning, a clean start, a breath of fresh air.
All the animals start giggling, a rainbow appears, and music fills the air.
Your best friend calls with happy news. Every table has fresh flowers on it, and your nights are full of candlelight.
We bring the springtime.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Why are we quizzing kids on dinosaurs?
Comedian Sam Morrill, The Errors Tour.
Some cop pulls me over. He's like, what kind of dinosaur?
Live at Davidson Theater, April 10th.
I'm like a stegosaurus. He's like, step out of the vehicle.
Get tickets now at kappa.com.
Skyline nachos are back, and now there's a spicy version. Get them with Skyline's cheddar or habanero cheese, topped with fiery jalapeno slices. But hurry, Skyline's regular and new spicy nachos are only at participating restaurants for a limited time.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The final season of Yellowstone might just be Bo's dad live on YouTube. What's the difference anyway? This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, so NFL owners meeting to sum up. No ban on tush push. That continues. The overtime rule will change to allow for both teams to get possession of the ball. They're going to do it over a 10-minute period versus the 15, but both teams will get the ball. So I guess the question there will be if it's in play that there's a 10-minute drive, I guess. No matter what, both teams will get the ball, so it'd be an untimed situation. That'll be tricky. Like if you burn a lot of the clock and then a team gets a minute with the ball, do they have to play to the minute, or that's why they should just use the college rule? Just give both teams the ball and use the college rule, and then it's a level playing field, and it has nothing to do with the coin toss. So I know they want to give credit to college football, but just do it, and that solves the operation entirely. They're also going to change the deep kick rule. Remember, they had the new kickoff rule last year. The hope was that the kickoff would come back into the sport. It didn't really have the effect I think a lot of people had, myself included. I thought it would have a bigger effect. It didn't. So it used to be you kick it out of the back of the end zone, you get it at the 30. Now they're moving it to the 35. I don't think that will change much. I mean, you may have to go to the 45 to get true change if you want the kickoff return back of the sport.
At that point, go ahead. I was going to say, why do the kickoff?
They want that home run to it, but
that's exactly what I was going to say. Instead of going through all of this, and I'm a big proponent of having the kickoff because I think when that happens, it's an exciting play. We just don't ever really see it anymore. But just get rid of it if we're doing all this.
Yeah. Hard to imagine it changes much. What do we have in the poll today, Reese?
The Daily Fan Poll is sponsored by Caster Connection, and it asks, do you think the NFL should ban the tush push, which is now the tabled ban on the tush push? 62% of respondents to the Daily Fan Poll say no.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think it's a football play. Stop it. That probably solves it. All right, time for three things on a Tuesday. Hit it, guys.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
All right, number one for me. I came to the conclusion last night, watching the most recent episode of 1923, that Taylor Sheridan, quite honestly, might hate his audience, and he is just doing too damn much. This season of that show, which I really enjoyed in season one, I don't know if you guys watched it or not. Season one was really enjoyable around, the kind of the bootlegging and prohibition and trying to build a ranch while, the nephew is in Africa on safari as a guide and all. I mean, it just won. It was really good. And I know this is one still really popular too, but this is just awful to watch. Not just because it's the storyline, it's not going anywhere, and it's just one gratuitous, violent, brutal thing you can do to women after another. It's exhausting. And if I wasn't this far into it, I definitely would just stop. But I feel like I've come this far. It's brutal. And I think he clearly has way too much. He's winning in life. He's got $400 million and the 4-6s ranch and all of that. But the end of Yellowstone was brutal. And this second season of this show has been just awful to watch. Not fun at all.
Yeah, I kind of wonder the same thing because the second season of Landman is expected late 2025, early 2026. And I don't know.
Are you watching this? Are you guys watching 1923?
I tried.
Did you watch the first season?
I got through 2 episodes.
Of the first?
Yeah.
First season's pretty good. Second one's awful.
This is one of the reasons I don't like watching shows because I don't want to get invested and feel like I have to finish it.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's not been fun.
First thing for me, it's Dime a Dog night. The opening day home opener for the Columbus Clippers tonight against the St. Paul Saints, 6:15. Will be first pitch from Huntington Park. For those who need kind of a refresher, DORA will be in effect 3 hours prior to that first pitch. DORA stands for Designated Outdoor Refreshment Area. And so while temperatures by first pitch will be low 50s, it's still nice. And one of those things that I was saying last week about opening day for baseball, you might not like baseball, but you like what it represents. Mm-hmm. And that's our slow move back into warm temperatures for 7 days out of the week.
Get your drinks at Betty's and walk around for a little bit on the streets of downtown. Nothing wrong with that. My first thing, this is from all the Columbus news outlets. A 60-ton crane was stolen from a construction site on Parsons Avenue near Scioto Downs. This was on Monday morning. Now, I could understand normal people that are walking around. They just see a semi back up and pick up a crane. They think that's just normal. that it's picking it up from the construction site and moving on. But this was at 8 a.m. Monday morning. I'm guessing all of the construction workers were there working, and nobody questioned, hey, why is somebody picking up our crane? I just don't see how this is possible that someone can steal a 60-pound crane or 60-ton crane. They even tore the plates off and ripped the GPS system out, so they obviously knew what they were doing. I just don't get how...
Where are you going to hide it?
Yes, where's it going to go?
Do you guys see the Guy Ritchie movie Snatch? Do you remember this?
Yeah.
With Brad Pitt.
Mm-hmm.
There's a great line where they have a bare-knuckle boxer who's named Gorgeous George, who's really big. And Turkish goes to Bricktop. He goes, "We've lost Gorgeous George." And Bricktop goes, "Well, how did you lose him? It's not like he's inconspicuous." That's how I feel about a crane. How are you going to lose a 16-ton crane?
Just
what are we doing?
Hide it behind a billboard.
No, I mean, seems like a big deal. Number 2 for me, I've never seen anything like it. Buddy Garrity's 2.5, golden retriever. He behaves as if he is famished all the time. And he is properly fed. Like, he's plenty healthy. But he will, it's the point now, every time I bring him in from outside, he thinks he deserves a treat. And he's dying if he doesn't get one. He doesn't understand it. I'm like, dude, you're fed. You're good. Like, do they ever not be hungry?
No.
It's wild.
On an hourly basis, I get looks from Odie. Like, am I just going to starve here? Like,
been fed?
It's 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m., 6 in the mornings. He gets fed at 7 and at 4, twice a day, 3 cups,
Nice.
a cup and a half each serving. At half-hour intervals, he'll ask, like,
yeah,
what are we doing, Dad? It's like every day, same day. God forbid if the time changes, because then his body clock doesn't recognize that sort of thing. And I guess that'll be my second thing, along with the Columbus Symphony. They do Picnic at the Pops every summer. Saturday, June 21st, they're going to be joined by Rick Ross.
Like the?
Oh, boy.
The boss?
Like, I have no idea how that's going to go, but there's going to be a Dolly Parton tribute, and then they end the Picnic at the Pops season with the Ohio State University Marching Band.
Second thing for me, earlier in the show, I actually mentioned loyal listener Phil on the YouTube. Well, I guess he passes the station just about every day when I'm pulling in. So this morning, I saw Phil go by in his work truck. He threw the lights on and honked the horn. So, hi, Phil. Thank you for that. Hopefully you're not watching YouTube while you're driving, though.
Be careful there. That can end up single white female. Like, next thing you know, you got a roommate named Phil. You guys are going on deliveries.
I mean, I'm
Who knows?
sure worse things have happened.
That's true, yeah. No time for 3 today, just to enjoy your Tuesday, Rothman and Ice. Coming up next, we're back tomorrow. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Oh, hey, the best football team in the country's on the best radio station in the country. Congratulations, Buckeyes. Here's to 100 more years together. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like early pay. You could get paid up to 2 days faster and there's no cost. So stop playing the waiting game. Make the switch today at huntington.com/yourmoney. Direct deposit and eligibility requirements apply.
He shoots, he scores! It's a great time of year to be a fan, but the fun stops when you or a loved one can't control your gambling. Maryhaven is here to help with in-person, virtual, and group options. Learn more at maryhaven.com.
Bats are us when dreams sunk in. Bats are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
Bats are us when dreams sunk in. Bats are us.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and, of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
I can't wait to meet her. Oh my gosh.
Put your hands together for new Dr. Pepper Blackberry and Dr. Pepper Blackberry Zero Sugar.
There she is! Woohoo! Yeah! It's full Dr. Pepper!
With sweet blackberry flavor!
Dr. Pepper Blackberry, I'm obsessed with your succulent taste. Please marry me!
No! Marry me! Marry me, or I'm gonna freak out!
Try new Dr. Pepper Blackberry.
It's a pepper thing!
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman here for Germain Honda of Dublin. So what's the difference? There are other Honda dealers around. Well, Rich Newsom and his team want to earn your trust. They don't expect it, and they earn it by giving you a great price, and then they back it up after the sale with same-day service, no appointment necessary, a great variety of brand new Hondas, and hundreds of pre-owned certified Hondas to choose from, all at the same location. Identify yours at GermainHondaofDublin.com. Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not